So Josh, I think this is the first time I've seen you interviewed head on. Aren't you usually to the side?
Huh? What do you mean?
This is usually.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm like.
Yeah. So
what I did was.
What had happened?
It felt more natural that way. I felt awkward just like sitting there like, so then I went to Billy and then I said, no. I gotta lean back a little bit. Podquester.
It's Podquester time now. It is Podquester time.
Thanks everyone for being here with us today. Tommy and I are so excited to be with the Final Four. Natalie, Billy, Josh, and Spencer. Congratulations, Billy, on your win. Yeah, y'all was salty for a second. It took you a minute to applaud.
It's about to get juicy.
You won 4 months ago. I still got to celebrate this?
Yes.
Let me move on.
Never. No, this is, Podquester started with reunions, so we're so excited to kind of do a reunion for Sequester Season 4, too. So we really appreciate y'all making the time to sit down with us and let us re-traumatize you. That's what I'm here for. I don't know about Tommy.
I'm here for like the hard-hitting questions, like what was the beverage of choice in the house, and like what was the favorite bedroom? You know, that kind of stuff. That's really what I'm here for.
Oh, Billy stole my favorite bedroom. And the TV worked the entire
already
time,
out.
and I didn't know the TV worked.
Then for real, you didn't know? Oh my God.
No, I tried.
Sassafras.
Yes.
The sassafras room. We called it the sapphire room, though. We called it the sapphire room.
The sapphire.
Why?
Because
was it blue?
It was red, right? Everything was red. Yeah.
But the name says sassafras, so like looking at it fast, it looks like.
Oh, okay.
Sassafras. That's a fun word.
Let's start with day 0. That's right. We're bringing you all the way back. Y'all get there. What are your first impressions of the cast that you see?
Holy shit.
So for me, when I rolled in there, like in my when we got back from the airport, I was in the van with Muna and Brent. And then as soon as I got interviewed by Tara, I'm like, oh, Brent's playing. So I'm like, all right, it's going to be like all people that I recognize. It's going to be fucking crazy. And then, we move in. And obviously, I don't know anybody. Ain't nobody know me. So, it was cool.
Yeah, I was in the airport with Katie, and I recognized her right away. She's like boho chic look, and then I don't know what look that is, but she's so cute. I love her fashion. And then Shireen was with us too, and I did not recognize her the whole way. We had our masks on. Did not recognize her. Like her voice, nothing. So that was a shocker when I walked out day 1 to see her and Jacob, like because we were in the same car, and Josh too, I think. Right? I didn't.
Yeah, that's crazy. I rode back from the airport by myself. I was with just TR and Mallory, but no, the first person that I see in the whole game was Billy right before we got mic'd up, and I was so excited. But like they had us. There's some like behind the scenes footage that is posted on Audrey's or Sequester's Instagram, and it shows like Group 3, which was me and Billy's moving group. Us like in the basement, like with our blindfolds on and stuff. And I'm sitting there and I am like saying to myself, I'm like, I feel like Billy's here. I was like, I have a feeling.
Are you serious?
I was like, not only is she in the house, but she is in the basement with me right now. Like I had a feeling that Billy was there.
Are you fucking serious?
And then
That's
so
crazy.
I walk up the stairs and the first person I see was Billy. And I was like, no way, let's go. Let's go.
You can feel the energy.
Let me piggyback off of Spencer because so when I get out when I was walking down the stairs, I seen Jay West and I was like, what the fuck? Like, so they didn't even catch that on camera because I was like, when I saw him, I was like, what the fuck are you doing here? Like, and mind you, from his season, he was my favorite. So like, I was like, man, that's like my guy, you know. And it's so funny, but me and Spencer really made a final 2 that first day, and then we'll keep going.
Yeah, but when I saw Jay West in the car, it really stunned me for a second, honestly, when I saw him, because my brain did like a triple take. I was like, oh, is that Jay West? And then because we're not supposed to talk, we're not supposed to react. They want all the reactions like to be authentic. And it was authentic, like as soon as we stepped out of the car, because I had not seen anybody. But I see Jay West and I'm just like, oh, was that Jay West? And I look over, I'm like, that is Jay West. And I'm like, is he playing or is he like a mentor? Like,
I thought he was late production.
Mentor.
No, I thought it was like Island of the Idols type situation. Like every move-in group gets one mentor, and then he was the first person to like talk when everybody stepped out of the car. He was like, "This is it." I was like, "Okay, maybe he's just here to like welcome us to the house." And then I was like, "Are you playing?" And he was like, "Yeah, I'm playing." I was like, "Oh hell yeah, let's go."
Yeah, you didn't notice the giant Jay West statue that was sitting in the front yard of the house, you know?
That's what Audrey spends her limited budget on.
Yeah.
Giant statues of Jay West.
But I think that's interesting, like thinking about the cast and stuff. And something I was thinking about is like with the prep of it is like, did you guys expect it to be all mini players? Or like once you started to see these people, you're like, all right, now it's all mini. Like when did that affect your pre-planning at all?
It didn't affect mine because, I was cast, and I know Spencer was. We were cast back in like March. And then I got the call in August from Audrey saying, it's going to be a smaller cast. I'm basically going to be pulling a bunch of people that were kind of like all-stars from the minis this summer. So I went in with that mentality, like I'm going to see some big names. Like before I even got there, Muna was number 1 on my list of people that I thought was going to be there. So, I went in thinking everyone's going to know each other. Everyone's going to have relationships. I ain't going to know anybody. So that was where my head was at walking in.
I had like the exact opposite, because when I talked to Audrey, she was like, oh, it'll be a lot of people that you don't expect. So I immediately took up all the big names, and I was thinking, well, no one's going to expect me. Like I played an all-star game, but like I just felt like I was kind of low in the totem pole. And so I expected more people like me and maybe some people that didn't play minis, like regular audition people. Now I look back, I'm like, oh my God, duh.
So when I walked in, I was expecting, I was like on the phone. So Josh, my little brother, knew that I was going to be on the season. Audrey reached out to Josh. So Josh told me on the phone. So I'm thinking Audrey called Josh to let Josh know he was going to be on season 4. And then no, he's like, Josh, she's like, Billy, come here right now. So I was like, okay, cool. So I was like, what's up? He's like, Audrey wants you to be on Sequester season 4. And I was like, are you serious right now? Me? Why me? So, cause this is Joshua, that was Joshua's dream. So I was like, damn, like I just played 2 minis. You've been really doing this, right? So I immediately said, well, I guess I bet Jacob's going to be on here. And that's who I was expecting. He's like, no, Jacob's not going to be on there. You know why Jacob's not going to be on there? Jacob has this other thing to do. And I guess Jacob told Josh that's what he was doing, like doing some modeling thing. And he thought the entire time that Jacob was going to be modeling. So it's so funny. Jacob so happened to be in the house. I was like, I fucking knew it. And I'm thinking this is the first guy I'm going to work with.
That's awesome. When I saw Billy, I was like, okay, cool. Like when I saw Billy, I was like, okay, cool. Like, but I was like, Billy and I played All-Stars together. I know Billy's like, she's got a whole lot of other stuff going on too. But I was like, so maybe it's not just mini players. Maybe it's like, because being cast back in March before even the minis were a thing, the original cast had nothing to do with the minis. So I had no idea like who was going to be on the cast, who was kept from the original cast, who was dropped, who was added that was new. And so I saw Billy and I was like, okay, like she was probably like in the same situation as me. And then when I got in the car and I turned around and I saw Katie, I was like, okay, it's all mini people. Like, this is all going to be mini people. I saw Katie. I saw Marcelo. I saw Jay West. I was like, this is all going to be mini people. Like, I'm screwed. That was my first thought. I was like, I'm screwed, because I felt the same way as Natalie, where I was like, you know, I'm standing there with Jacob Jones, the first ever 2-time winner, with Brent, the infamous Sequester podcaster, you know, Shireen from Survivor, Muna, Queen Muna, everybody loves her. And I'm just like, oh no, like nobody knows me. Like nobody's thinking I'm a big player here. Like nobody's going to want to keep me as a shield or anything. So I was just like, yikes. Like this is going to be trouble for me.
Well, y'all all mentioned that you played in an all-star mini. I was surprised y'all didn't like make a kind of an alliance based on that. I mean,
well, Natalie, you want to maybe speak on why?
Yeah.
Wait, I don't know if I remember, but I remember like afraid of people knowing about us because Billy, Spencer, and I played at the same starting room, and I remember like not wanting to like. Well, Billy was always surrounded by people, so you could never like get a moment with Billy. So I was like, we're never gonna have time to like quietly talk about this. But that's my memory of it. I don't know what.
I don't
know. I'm just saying, I remember that mini, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it was pretty amazing. I don't remember who won, but I think they were pretty like fantastic.
It was like
yeah.
The queen of the all-stars.
Yeah. I know that like I kind of always I felt like an like bond or unspoken like sense of trust between Natalie and also with Billy, of course, as well, because Billy actually voted with me in that you know treacherous locked in room. I don't think Natalie did. I don't think Natalie did.
There's a whole reason. Like
no, it's okay. It's okay. We don't have to get into the reason. I knew that Billy did. I knew that Natalie didn't. So I was just like, okay, Billy, if she can come through for me there, she's gonna come through for me anywhere. And it was funny, like watching the show as the season went on, how not true that was, and how one-sided my number one relationship was.
Let me say this. Look, I'm watching the whole season back, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm watching, and I'm like, damn, Spencer really had my back, like a lot, right? But if you notice, like, I'll say my little slick thing, because here's the thing: it's a lot of stuff that wasn't shown, right? And also a lot of things that were told to me as a player, and I only go based off of face value. If I align with you, I align with you. So if you tell me the sky is blue, the sky is fucking blue. We're not even going to argue about it. The sky is blue. Let's move with it. So part of my alliance hat was in my head, like, let's do Spencer. Let's do this. I'm like, oh shit, no, I can't do him at first. And then I low key on date night, I did not remember I voted for you, bro. I swear. I did not know I voted for you. That's why the next night I was like, I ain't never vote for you. I ain't never vote for you. I truly believe I didn't vote for you because
that was the second time you voted for me, girl.
When was the first?
The round prior. You voted for me 2 rounds in a row.
Which one?
When it was me and when it was
there. We will get there. Y'all jumping ahead.
Yeah, but I do think yes.
I was gonna say, but that's just funny because, like, in like the Snapchat group afterwards, you know, we're all trying to work out the votes like throughout the season, and we're working out date night, and we're like, Billy, who'd you vote for? And Billy's like, y'all are just gonna have to wait and see. But we already figured it out. So really, the only person that had to wait and see was Billy, because we all knew that she voted for Spencer.
You can ask Audrey, bro. I was like, the whole game started to go like this. Like in confessionals, I'm in confessionals like I was really playing with my heart, and it's like. I told myself, I was like, I'm not going to do this. I'm going to completely just play, you know, I'm just going to play and I'm going to stab people in the back. This is what I want to do. And then I get in there and I'm crying. I'm emotional. I'm on my girly thing. So I had to do my thing. So I'm like, whatever, it is what it is. Let's go.
I do remember that from our interviews. You're like, I feel like I played with my heart in the minis and I can't do that. And I was like, your heart is like, you have good instincts. You have the heart. Your heart knows what's up. Like, I was really worried for you going in this game. I was like, she can't play without her heart. She has to play with her heart. So,
and especially in person too. Like when I play online minis, I mean, like we can all play again in my mind. So like for me, it's like a board game night. Like I'm gonna cut you, like I've cut allies, like whatever, but like in person and like having known, I think like I felt like I knew most of you, I played with some of you, but like just watching you, that it felt like it, I don't know, maybe just being in person too, but like I was like the first night Josh was like voted out, I cried. Like we were standing there and I was like tearing up because it was just like I'm really like, and what's the word, empathic, like I could feel like the pain and it just like was overwhelming, and that was like the theme for me the entire time. So I just want everyone to know it was really, really hard and emotional in person.
Well, that's where people always, when the cast got revealed, everyone on the Twitter and everything was like, "Oh, pre-existing relationships. These people without pre-existing relationships, it's going to impact everything." And it's like, really, I said from the beginning, I said it. I think it handcuffs the players when you have pre-existing relationships because there is that emotion that you're bringing in before the game. I think it does help too. I'm not trying to say that pre-existing relationships don't help, but I do think looking at our Final Four right here, it's like you guys talk about being like the people that were less connected, the people that were less known in the minis, and I think that does help you be able to navigate in the game and move between groups a little bit more.
Yeah,
I would say like if you have a big reputation walking into the house, it should help you tremendously, especially in the early stages of the game and at the very end if you can make it to the final two. Because one, people are going to be afraid to target you right off the bat when you get in that house if you have a big reputation. Because they know if they put your name out there, then you might have 3 or 4 more people coming after you because they're tight with that person. Same thing if they make it to the end. Like if Jacob makes it to the end, someone can always say, "Oh, you let 2-time mini winner Jacob Jones make it to the end. Give that guy a win." But for players that are unconnected, that didn't have a big reputation, like we did well once we hit the middle game.
Yeah.
But we had to fight to survive to get out of those early rounds. Mm-hmm. So by no means did coming in unconnected help us. I would say if you come in with relationships, the advantage is way higher than it is than the disadvantage of having relationships coming into the game.
Yeah, and I would say like it didn't surprise me at all that like in progression of eliminations of Josh, Natalie, me, that didn't surprise me because I was like, people are going to see me as expendable because they've got like, I felt close with certain people. I felt close with Brent. I felt close with Katie. Those are my 2 closest relationships coming into the game. But I never felt like any of them were really going to like ride for me like that. And of course Katie did, but it kind of was a little bit of, I'm doing this for me, not for Spencer. And, I know that Spencer is going to pull me into a battle match if I don't vote for Natalie here. So I'm going to vote for Spencer. So, having those people is a good thing, but not having them means that you can kind of just do what you want to. And like having Katie out of the game to me felt like, okay, well, I don't have to like worry about backstabbing her. It was like, it sucks that she's gone, but now I'm not tied to that. Nobody's going to see me and Katie as this like power duo or this like unbreakable alliance. It was just like, I felt like a free agent.
Okay, let's start with round 1 because we are definitely. So round 1 was kind of explosive. It was a twist that I played in the minis, but it's very different in real life when you have to look somebody in the face and say, "Hey, you're going to exile," or choose carefully who you're going to give safety to because it reveals a lot just walking in. But before the round even started, the game was being played. Somebody started looking for an LOS real fast and put the target on their back. Do you want to talk a little bit about that, Josh?
Yeah, sure. The target was already going to be there. Make no mistake about it. LOS searching or not, like nobody knew who I was. You can throw out my name and not have to worry about if 3 people are going to be gunning for you anyways. So I'd rather be targeted for looking for an LOS than have people in the confessional saying, "Oh, he doesn't talk enough," or "he talks too much," or this, that, or the other, or making up some bullshit reason. I'll give you a reason because it's going to come my way anyways. So if I'm going to get targeted, I'd rather get targeted for something that I thought could give me safety. Because, if there's an LOS in there, I would have fucking found that LOS.
So, Josh, I have a question for you then.
Yeah, let's go.
So you don't feel like, because you, to me, in the house, when I first date, bro, I felt like instant connection. Like, it was like, boom, right? You could have had that with multiple people and people would not have targeted you?
No, here's the thing with me. Like, like when I'm bartending and I'm in my element, like I feel like, I'm in control of my space. I'm in control of my domain, So like anybody walks in like, boom, I'm Mr. Social, let's go. In an environment like this, and like just knowing myself, if you like, I go to a party and I don't know anybody, like I'm gonna take a minute to warm up. I'm not gonna give you that much of myself off the jump, because I'm figuring people out. I'm trying to figure out how much do I give me, you know, where's my in. With you, Billy, you're kind of an exception, because, and also a testament to why you're so good as a social player. Like, you cut right through the fucking shit, and boom, like I feel like I've known you for fucking forever. You know, versus, let's say, like, opposite of like you, Jacob. I wasn't fucking with Jacob in this game.
Yeah, that man was not. It was hard for me too.
Right off the bat, when I talked to Jacob, we're looking at the window.
You wanted to phone with Natalie.
Right. Right off the bat, when I met Jacob, we're both looking out windows, and he's like, Josh, I feel like you and me can really do some damage in this game. And right off the bat, I'm like, that's some used carsman sounding like shit that he's pushing there. So like, he ain't my guy. Versus Billy, who just walks up and is like, hey, what's going on? How you doing? Like, I'm Billy. Like, let's talk. You know, so.
See, I feel like
I do have a message from Jacob Jones. I don't know if you have your Twitter open, but he says, and I quote, "Tell Josh I've been waiting to whoop his little ass." So.
Tell him we're gonna have a fight. We're gonna have to beat this man up, Josh.
Josh, I want to say though, like I know you didn't know anybody, and so like I felt like knowing a couple people, you know, it's like if you go to a party but you know some people there but not everybody, you know, like you kind of have a little bit of an in. Like I know Katie, so I can talk to Brendan, and I know Brent, so I can talk to like the, you know, the people that Brent's connecting with. But I felt like as soon as you and I talked, I felt like a good connection there with you. And I felt like if that was, you know, if maybe you had not had that target on you from the jump, from like looking for the LOSs, I do feel like people like Shireen didn't want to vote for you. Billy didn't want to vote for you. I didn't want to vote for you. Jay West didn't want to vote for you. Like not everybody wanted to vote for you, but I feel like once that ball got rolling with the actual reasons for it, like that was where it came from. But I think like it was almost a little bit of like a self-fulfilling prophecy, where it's just like you felt like it was going to happen, and it might have happened. Like we don't know what was going to happen, but I felt like I was in danger round one for sure. And I was just like trying to be as social as possible. And I guess like, you know, doing the opposite of that took the target off my back. So I kind of was just like, I kind of went with it. I was just like, yeah, Josh is kind of sketchy. Like he's looking for LOSs, but like you're a really charismatic guy. Like once you start talking to people, I really felt a connection. You were a very good like social guy, and I think that that like you're selling yourself short here a little bit.
No, I'm not selling myself short. I mean, because once the game got popping, like boom, that's when I could bond with Shireen. That's when I started making moves. That's when I started like getting those relationships down without actions and deeds. That's how I show who I am, you know, through the actions. So once the game actually started, like boom, that's when I started bonding with Jay West. That's when I started with Shireen. Like day zero, nah, I couldn't.
But you weren't the only disconnected person, right? Like Rachel didn't have very many connections. I think Natalie, though she had played many games, didn't feel like she had connections either. So you weren't the only disconnected person, but you were the person, and it was Shireen who put the target on your back. So how did you all feel when Marcelo was the first one to grab that safety?
I mean, I was excited. I was happy. I was like, yeah, my God got it. But then I realized everything with Marcelo is like, there. Okay, well, let's talk about that later. But when I walked up to Marcelo to congratulate him, no, for real though, when I walked up to congratulate him, this was the first tally. There's tallies, right? So the first time I walked up to him to congratulate him, he was like, like, dude, I don't know, maybe I'm just more expressive, and I express my like who I really like, you know, up front, and it's out there. I don't care, like whatever, target me. I was ready for a battle match. Like in my mind, I'm like, I'm prepared. I've been doing this since August, you know. But when Marcelo did that, that was the first tally. I was like, okay, I gotta watch, bro, because he in a lot of people's mind was also everyone else's number one. Like he was trying to play that Muna role or the Jacob role of being number one to a lot of different people. And also my role, because I was not number one to everybody. I didn't promise a final two with everybody. It was more so like strategically, I'm only going to work with certain people. And I also need these people to work and have my back as well. Natalie, me and Natalie were the most disconnected. I was very surprised what went down, but it was just like this with Marcelo. When Marcelo got it, I was so happy. And then immediately I noticed he wasn't, I don't know, it just wasn't genuine. So I then didn't like it.
Yeah, that was a tough round, and I'm sure Natalie can kind of attest to like being at the bottom of the barrel of just like nobody's picking you for safety.
Yeah.
Like Josh, I know that you were up for elimination early, but like it was just like it felt like so demoralizing to just see other people get picked time and time again. Like Jay West told me he was going to give me safety, and then he gave safety to Shireen. Like Jay West promised me. He looked me in the eye, shook my hand. He promised me. And he and I, at that point, I was closer with him than anybody else. Like he and I were roommates. We moved in together. Like he and I were super close. And then out of nowhere, he blindsides me with the like giving safety to Shireen. And I was just like, oh shit. Okay. Like that I thought that was my like biggest shot at getting safety. Then like Katie gives safety to Brendan. And I was just like, what the hell? Like, what is this? Like, I had no idea the like connection that Katie and Brendan had. So I was like, this guy, she meets this guy like yesterday. I had played in the mini with Katie. I talk with Katie all the time. And like, she's giving safety to somebody else. And then Brent gives safety to Muna. And I'm just like, oh my God, I'm not getting picked by anybody. Even the people who I think are my allies aren't picking me. Like, this is awful.
How did you feel about that play though, Spencer, when watching it back?
I mean, I thought it was brilliantly done. I thought like it was very well done for like Muna and Jacob to orchestrate like get Muna getting safety and Jacob getting safety. And the crazy thing is like I was watching a lot of like I was following social media while it was going on, and I saw a lot of people saying like, oh, Jacob and Muna just played the pants off of Spencer. And I never felt that way. Like even watching it back, I was never like I never felt played at all. Like because I always felt like I was still doing what was in my best interest. And like, even if like, nobody was giving me safety, right? Like nobody who was up for elimination, like further on was ever going to give me safety. So I was just like, you know what, whatever, like, let me try to just secure this bond with Jacob. And I think like it was a long play because, that loyalty from Jacob didn't actually kick in until, much later down the road. But I felt like, watching it back, I was like, this was kind of a good play. But no, I thought they did a really good job to make sure that, Muna and Jacob were both safe.
Yeah, for me, it was just like that was the last twist I played in a mini that I got eliminated on because I misunderstood. It was slightly different with the twist, but I completely panicked. As soon as they said the twist round one, I lost my mind. And I'd already lost my mind because I put so much pressure on myself that my first impressions, like I was just really quiet. I was just like rigid and scared. And so I just felt like a complete mess that first round. And so it just like disappointment. And then I thought I was really close with Jay West too. So that was like, oh shoot, something else happened with that round too. Like a lot of betrayals or like rumors of people betraying. So it was just blow after blow after blow and like sheer panic.
Right. And the other thing for me that I thought was kind of interesting was like the conversation, Natalie, you probably remember this, that like you, Rachel, Marcelo, and I had during that round where we were like, oh yeah, we feel kind of good about this like we're all pretty like, no, we're not big names. Like people aren't going to look towards us and they're not going to like see big threats and stuff. So we were like, oh, we got to stick together. And Brent had told me that he didn't really trust Jacob, or that I shouldn't trust Jacob because he didn't trust me. So I was like, okay, giving Jacob safety here is like works for me in every single way. I was like, it keeps people that I trust with me in Rachel and Natalie down in exile, and it gets somebody out of exile who I feel might vote against me, and I could maybe work with him down the road. But I felt like, how did you take that? Like, were you, because I don't think Rachel took it well. Rachel was not happy with me like putting her up for exile there.
Oh, I was totally fine with it. Okay. I feel like I'd already accepted what was going to happen, and I'd already kind of been like, okay, who's in there? Josh and Katie. Like, we just need to make sure it's either Josh or Katie. And I felt like at peace with it. Like I was like, what else is he supposed to do? It was my fault for not going to you first. Like Jacob, like the girls, we all went and talked together. And I think that freaked me out too. Cause I was like, oh no, people are going to think that we're all together. And then Jacob and you were talking. So I just felt like he beat us to the punch. He played it better. I was talking with Rachel. Like, I don't know. I was at peace with it. I didn't really care.
Gotcha.
I thought we four were still like they didn't show that on the episodes, but in my mind, it was Marcelo, Rachel, and Spencer and I. I was like, we're gonna be tight, and then no.
Yeah, that's the point where I felt like the ball really got rolling on the Spencer Rachel beef. Was that round where I didn't give her safety, or I didn't give her or you safety. So I felt like.
I think for me, like I'd played with you before and I'd watched you play. Like I watched the 619 mini twice because I was studying Katie's game. And so I was more familiar with you. I could see like Rachel could, you know, from her perspective, like, hell no.
Right.
So we get everybody situated into two different groups, safety and exile. And Josh, you were the first one in exile. How did you start planning that? You said you knew there was going to be a target on your back from the moment you walked in. So what was your game plan?
Well, once I was put in exile?
Yeah.
My thought was I'm going to go for the biggest name that is in there in exile with me. Like if Jacob Jones was in there, I was targeting Jacob, but Jacob wasn't in there. So I went after Katie. I heard Katie was going after me. And from like my initial conversations with her on day 0, I didn't feel like they went very well. And so yeah. Yeah, once the round started and Katie was there, it's like, all right, Katie's it. Let's go.
And we saw you threaten Brent.
Yeah. So yeah, because when I talked to Brent on day 0, you know, I said, hey, you know, listen, Rob has a podcast. We'll listen to you for a while. And the vibe I got from Brent was Brent's probably thinking, I don't know who this guy is. I know Brent likes the big players, you know, when you see him on Twitter, he's saying like, why are you getting rid of all the big names? Why are you getting rid of all the big names? So he's going to be trying to keep them safe and he doesn't give a shit about me. So I was like, I need to prove to Brent that I am not expendable. I'm not someone that you can just drag along and just cut whenever you feel like you're ready to get rid of me. So I'm like, if I'm going to threaten anybody, I'm going to threaten Brent. Because I feel like he would respect it and I could probably use him a little bit more moving forward if I survived the round.
And it was a good read because Brent is like, out of all those people there, like Brent's definitely the most self-interested player. Like he's going to do whatever he can to like not only avoid like getting voted out, but avoid a battle match. Like he was like, keep me out of it. Keep me out of harm's way. I don't want to get in the way of this guy. Like he's got nothing to lose. I'll vote for Katie. Sure.
For sure. Versus like when I talked to Rachel, like I wasn't going to threaten Rachel, but I had a conversation that didn't make it into the episode where I just said like, Rachel, I just need a favor from you. Can you vote for Katie? And she says, I don't want to get rid of a woman. I said, all right, I understand that. Can you vote for Brent? And she says, yeah, I can do that. I'm like, all right, cool. Like, I'm not going to threaten you or anything like that. I'm just asking for your help, you know, because different people, you know, you got to approach them differently. If I had threatened Rachel there, Rachel would probably hate me forever. So at least in the game. So I was like, let me go softly with Rachel.
Good read.
Yeah. That was kind of your big iconic moment. We didn't see you talk to Rachel. Were there any other conversations you had? Did you think that you had managed to get the target on Katie?
No, I didn't. Because I remember those 2 one-on-ones, and then you saw one scene where I'm standing there with Spencer and Natalie basically saying, vote Katie. I don't know if I knew that Spencer was tight with Katie like that at this point in the game. I definitely knew it by the next round.
I don't believed it. I believe that you and Katie, Spencer, I thought the whole time they don't like each other. She stole the shit out of me because I didn't watch minis. I didn't watch minis like that. So like, you know, I only played in the 2 minis that I was ever in. So I low-key did not believe. I was like, okay, these 2 people, they don't like each other. Okay, cool. So they're not, obviously they're not together.
Yeah, no, that was so strange because I thought like Katie was telling me, she was like, oh yeah, like we'll play up like the beef that we have. Like I voted you out. And I was like, Katie, no, like people are going to call this bluff so quickly. Like, don't do it. And so like, I never saw it.
For me, bro, I was
day 0. There was a rumor going around that it was Spencer that betrayed Katie. And I was like, I'm pretty sure it was the opposite.
Katie,
so I was like,
and
I was like, wait, what? How did that? And I was like squashing it. So I don't know who did that, trying to like put Spencer on the radar at like day 0. But yeah,
we needed a whole episode. Day 0. Day 0 sounds crazy.
Oh, so much.
Day 0 was wild.
It was a lot. It was a
And then getting used to having the cameras, and like I thought there'd be a camera on me, but it turns out it was the back of a camera like person, and I was like, oh, so most of my stuff wasn't filmed because I'm stupid and not aware.
Yeah, no, the funny part about that was like in the early stages of that game would be when production would remind us like, hey, when you're having a conversation, try not to turn your back towards the camera, please. Like try, let's try to have it like, if you're watching Friends on Netflix, you see like everybody's talking in a semicircle, like talk in a semicircle. And while you're at it, I know some of you guys are a little bit nervous in front of the cam, but don't mess with your collar where the mic is situated. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of things you got to learn.
So you thought that you were gonna go? You knew you were going into the battle match, Josh.
There was an outside shot. Like I was confident that Brent was going to vote. Was going to adhere to my threat. Outside shot that Spencer has my back. I bonded with him day one. But again, I didn't know that he was cool with Katie like that. I needed Rachel to throw her vote. I didn't know where Natalie's head was at. And then Jay West, he comes to me. Let's make something clear. I didn't go to Jay West. Jay West came to me and said, Josh, I'm voting Katie. Let's get rid of Katie. So, but then I'm like, oh, hey, maybe I have a shot. But
yeah, no, that was wild. Like being in the round during that, like, because I'm there like up to the end, right? Up until everybody's like separated into safety and exile. And so many people are worried for Katie because it's like, oh yeah, Josh and Jay West are going to vote together against Katie. And I was just like, where is this coming from? Like, where is Jay West? Like, not like, where is the Josh and Jay West alliance? Where's the like Jay West and Josh beef with Katie? And like, Katie was so concerned about that. And she was like, I need all my allies in exile. I need all my allies in exile. I was like, you're safe. Like, you're Katie. Nobody's going to vote you out. Like, don't worry about it. Don't throw everybody else under the bus just because you feel so insecure. But like, I mean, I think like it was an absolutely like insane, like bold move to like go for Katie like that, because one or two more people fold and you've got yourself like a very close vote.
Yep.
But so you decide to go ahead and expose people's votes. And you wanted to pull Katie into the battle match originally. What made you say Katie originally? Just to take out the biggest target?
Yeah, so I exposed Jay West, Brent, and Katie. And yeah, I exposed Katie. Like I knew she voted for me, but I didn't want to expose Spencer's vote or Rachel's vote or Natalie's vote, because if they did vote for me, I didn't want that to be revealed. I didn't want it to be out in the open that they knew that I knew that they voted for me, because I wanted to be able to work with them moving forward. So I'd rather just expose the people that I need to expose rather than trying to get information. So anyway, so once I get the three of them out there, yeah, I'm going to pull Katie in. But, we were told beforehand that they have a chance to talk. They have a chance to convince you out of it. So it's like, we'll start with Katie and we'll see where it goes. Probably going to pull in Katie. And then Jay West happens. And, he says, the first time he says, Josh, if you're ready to do this, like, I'm ready to go. Like, we can do this. And I let it slide the first time. And then the second time when he's like, if you want to come back in this game, then go after Katie. And after that, it's like, all right, how can I have the biggest impact while I am up here? How do I make sure and say to the people that are in the game, hey, like, leave me the fuck alone. Like, like I will go after anyone. I don't care. Like, if you are coming after me, if you're on my team, then you can go. And then Jay was also saying something like, I wanted to work with you. Too bad. Like, if you want to work with me, you have to work with me right now. You don't get to throw me in and then say, in the event that you come back in, then we can be allies. If we're either allies right now or enemies right now. And you voted for me, so we're enemies. So you got to come in. And then that was that.
Yeah, and what I think going off of that is like what I've heard through some people's exit interviews is like you really hyped up this win against Jay West. That I think you did exactly what you wanted to, of like, don't mess with me. I destroyed him in this puzzle. Like, it was no questions asked.
Oh yeah. No, I sold it like, yeah, he got ahead of me like
the shit out of it. He got back in the house. Talking about, I whooped his ass. Yeah. I was like, damn, he whooped his ass. Like
No, I know. Like I viewed Josh when he came back from that. I was like, okay, this man is like a wild animal with nothing to lose. Like he'll do anything. Like he doesn't give a fuck. Like you know what? Jay West, let's go right now. Like you want to mess with me? You want to like? I was like, he's got the crazy eyes. He's yelling at Jay West. He's pulling him into battle matches. He's calling people out. Like he didn't care. Like he was ready to go.
My reaction was so real when I was like, it was it's authentic. Like
you and Muna in that moment, like, Billy.
It was real. Like it was not like no craziness. It was real. It was like
what a good start to the season. Yeah. Like we were just like, all right, it's on.
It's about to be messy.
Yeah, so and you beat his ass, you beat him handedly. I mean, I'm not gonna say you did all that you said you did, but
back and forth. I won, that's what matters.
Yeah.
That ass smacked it and dragged it.
I was ahead at the right point.
Some shit talking that I always appreciate. I'm a big fan of shit talking. So we love it when somebody gets into their head. Now I've heard rumors that this is because you saw TR that you started asking about sandwiches. Is that true?
That is true. That is a true rumor.
What?
Why?
Yeah, okay, so TR was on a tier list Tuesday with Julia and Louie where they ranked sandwiches. So, and I was in the comments just like talking my shit. Like they were like, I was like BLT, more like PLT. The P stands for piss. Yeah. And just doing that for all of them. So when I first moved in, TR was in the room with me, and I was like, "Hey, TR." Oh, and so when I did that in the video, like TR, I caught him laughing. So when I saw TR in the house, I was like, "TR, what's your favorite sandwich?" And he's like, "Oh, I don't know." I'm like, "What about a PLT? The P stands for piss." And TR's like, "Never heard anyone call it like that. Kind of weird." And then just walked away. And I was like, "Oh no!" Like I've ruined it. I did a terrible mistake.
You thought it was this inside joke, and he's not.
I was like,
I don't remember shit.
I know. I was like, I've made a terrible mistake. Oh no. So when I'm doing the battle matches, I'm still looking at TR, and I'm thinking the sandwiches. So I'm like, Jay West, what's your favorite sandwich? And then that's what we get. That's when we learn. That's when we learn.
The most confusing question.
That's hilarious.
I think that would only work on certain people. For Tommy would have been like, "Oh, are we talking sandwiches?"
Oh, I would have loved it. I would have
put these blocks down. Let's talk.
Yeah, I'd be like, "Wait, can we go back in the game? Like I'm working with Josh now. We're talking sandwiches."
I heard Katie kicked ass at that though. So
yeah, 14 minutes. I was like, if Katie would have won in that battle match, Josh was not coming back.
A whole different ballgame. A whole different ballgame.
Everything happens for a reason.
The fan fictions are wild. Of what could the what if scenarios in some of these decisions that were made in the game.
Alternate universes.
Exactly. Yeah.
But ultimately, Josh did win.
In the ultimate universe.
And he made it all the way to Final Four. But what did y'all think when y'all saw Josh come back out?
I was like, fuck yeah, my tall back. Yeah, what's up?
I was excited for Josh. Like, I was genuinely excited for Josh because, like Natalie said, I was very, like, I had so much empathy for, like, everybody during this game because I know, like, how much this meant for me. Like, just to even be on the cast, like, I was like, this is such a bit, like, I care about this so much. And so, like, to see Josh, like, go through the ringer like that on day 1 and day 0, I felt bad for him. Like, because I know that he wanted this real bad. Like, he was telling me about, his he was like, oh yeah, I've got a kid and this, that, and the other thing. And I was just like, oh damn, like, guy with a kid going home first, like, this sucks. And then, so when he came back, my initial reaction was excitement for Josh, but then I was like, I just lost my closest ally, Jay West. Like, man, I was just like, man, what a 1-2 punch of, like, excitement, terrible. Like, so, but I was happy for Josh. I was ready to, like, work with him in the game, and just bummed for Jay West because I know how much this meant to him too.
Mm-hmm.
So when so because I was the one that exiled Jay West, I felt sad that Jay West was pulled into the battle match. But the moment he was pulled into the battle match by Josh, I was like, out of the two of them, Josh is my biggest ally. I don't care. Like, me and Josh had built that bond. So then when Josh came back, I was like, yeah, fuck yes. Yeah, you know what it is? Just kill this man in the back. Because I'm like, at this point, if he comes back, if Jay West comes back, oh, I'm targeted. Whatever. But Josh came back. My dog pulled him in.
Jay West was my actually biggest ally day zero. But then the whole thing about, he was talking to me about targeting Jacob and Muna to split them up. And I said, not yet. Just like, no, let's not do that. And I was like, in my mind, I wanted to be with Muna. So I was like, no. But then there was something went around where it was my idea. So I was pissed at Jay West, and I thought Jay West betrayed me. So when Jay West didn't come back, and I was like, all right, fine. I was like, I'm done with him. Goodbye.
So going into this round, it is the notorious killer round. Billy, how did you feel finding out that you were the killer?
Fucking cried. Ask anybody. I cried. I bawled out. I was like, I don't want to do this so early in the game. I don't want to have to cross anybody. I didn't want to. And then they were like, oh, you have to make the decision quick. You're doing too much. Like, stop all that. Pick 3 people. So I low-key just like picked random names. And I was like, oh, I'm going to change the list. No, for real. Natalie, I was coming for you. I'm sorry, sweetheart. I was. It was just like, okay, if it was,
I was like, yeah, no.
I was. No, for real. Natalie, I was like, me and you did not connect first day.
No.
Day 0, did we? No, we didn't.
No,
Billy just goes like, oh my gosh, I'm so sad. Natalie, Spencer, and Brent.
Exactly. I swear. Or like, you can ask Audrey and them, ask them, they'll tell you. I went, no, please. Then they were like, Rachel is the detective. I was like, oh, she's a detective. All right, let me put a targets up there. So I was like, all right, Spencer is who she been targeting. So here's the thing. My alliance talked about who they didn't like, who they did like. So I already knew the mindset they had. And it just so happened Rachel was the detective, which just put me in the spot to say, okay, she didn't vibe with Spencer. I'm gonna put Spencer. She didn't vibe with Brent. I'm gonna put Brent. I'm gonna just put Natalie in there as well because I didn't talk to Natalie. So I wasn't thinking. I was thinking like, okay, I'm gonna change the name, obviously, last minute. And I didn't really understand the twist initially, the fact that, oh, I can only change it one time and I only can do it during the time we're voting. So I didn't know that. So when it comes down to it, the reason why I switched, we'll get to that. But first off, I was just like, oh, let me just put some names out there. And I walked up, Paige walks me upside. She's like, are you okay? I'm like, I don't know about this. She's like, you can't be crying like that. They're going to know. I said, okay. And I walked in there like this, like, but even in confessionals though, there's a lot of times in confessionals, I was like so sad about like what just went down that round. And they will start my confessionals off with like, you know, let's talk about the stuff that made you upset. And then I will go into confessionals. I'm talking about bawling, going in, just venting, telling all my information. And then they'll be like, okay, so it's a reset. It's the beginning of the round. None of that happened. And I'm like, do I look like I was crying? They were like, no. I was like, okay. Well, so we just went into this round. It's just completely, totally acting. So I found out I had acting skills from this show.
Use this for your audition. Yeah, your audition reel. Just have Killer Billy.
Yeah, right.
But for everyone else, like, were you guys intent on getting out the killer? Because we see at a certain point, everyone kind of just gives up on getting out the killer. But like, obviously at first, like that was your intentions, right?
Well,
yeah,
speaking for myself, who was out 10 minutes into the round.
I was gonna say,
like that was the tricky part of this round. Like as far as twists go, like this wasn't my favorite twist. Like in the first 10 minutes of that round, like I thought it was good because you could talk to people and just kind of be like there was nothing to do. Like you couldn't really do anything during that twist, especially if you didn't have a role. Like you couldn't really like gain that much information because nobody was killed yet. Like nobody was out and nobody was revealing who was a detective and stuff like that. So I enjoyed like getting to talk to people and just like recoup with the people who were in safety while I was in exile. But like once I was out, I was just like, okay, like there's nothing really, I can't worry about who was the killer. I have to worry about not getting like the votes on me.
Yeah.
So the killer detective round, just want to let you know, like for me, I wanted to be the detective because I wanted to find out who the killer was. But when I was a killer, I was like, nobody's gonna find out it's me. Nobody's gonna know it's me. Like I low key, I knew everybody. Like it, I was like, nobody's gonna find it. This is gonna be so easy. But I did not want to be the killer. I just need to make that clear. I hate it.
Yeah, I did not want to be the killer because I felt like 99% of the time I was gonna go up on as to be killed, and so for me not to be or not to go up would be obvious that I was. I don't know. I just felt like it would be so obvious I was the killer because I knew I was gonna be targeted. And then that first like 10 minutes before I got killed, it was really just making deals with, okay, so if you're killed, let's like, we all promise not to vote for you. So it was just like socialize and make deals. And like, you couldn't really even, you know, it was too early for me to figure out who the killer was, but.
Yeah. And honestly, like the thing that shocked me the most was that Josh wasn't killed and he wasn't like the first person killed. And the reason I say that is because it would have been like, it's the most like plain boring play that could have been made that puts zero, like it doesn't point an arrow in any direction. Like Josh goes up, it's like, okay, any of the other 11 of us could be the killer. So
yeah,
it wasn't
piggybacking off of that. Yeah, totally. Like I was super nervous for until it was revealed that Spencer and Natalie were killed, because I'm like Spencer was saying, nobody can pinpoint anybody if I go up there, because theoretically anybody could put me out. But once Spencer and Natalie went up there, I felt cool that last round before the third person was revealed. I'm like, if I didn't go up already, like I don't think I'm going up at all. So I only half cared about figuring out who the killer was. And you know, I figured it's probably someone that I bonded with on day one. So I thought maybe it's Brent, maybe it's Muna. Never suspected Billy.
You never thought it was me.
You never touched my radar. Not at all.
Yeah, that was a fun one to watch, though. I enjoyed watching. And then Billy, like when you walked away from the camera and you like looked at it.
And like speaking of the like who we suspected, I thought it was interesting like watching the round back, because that was the only 20 minutes of the game that I wasn't involved in. Like that to me was like the big like blank spot where it's like the period of time where I was killed to the time where like I came back for the last 10 minutes of discussion time. Like I had no idea what happened during that. So I thought it was interesting to hear like the discussions between people, like including Rachel, who like as a detective, where like why they thought certain people were the killer. And it had nothing to do with the actual kill list itself. It had nothing to do with like me and Natalie going home or anything like that. It was just like, who has like killer mentality? Who has like killer vibes? Like I forget exactly who the guesses were, but like Rachel was like dead set on it being Katie. Like from the jump, she was like, I think it's Katie. I think it's Katie. And I was just like, I was like, it's your closest ally. She's standing right next to you. Like, don't look at Katie. Like, and so that to me was like a very interesting thing to think about. It's just like, it didn't matter who got killed. It was just like, these are going to be the guesses no matter what.
Yeah, Billy gets to join the fun killer clubhouse that we have for anyone that has to be a killer in a sequester game. So we got fun koozies in our clubhouse. But anyways, back to the thing. So yeah, we see Natalie go, we see Spencer get killed, and then we see you change it up on the third pick. You change it from Brent to Jacob Jones.
Yep. So let me explain the reason why I did this, okay? So originally it was Brent, right? But Brent was putting a huge target on himself. So I was like, if they don't guess Brent, I don't understand why they're not going to guess Brent right now. And when I went into the room and I see, mind you, I know my alliance. So I know Shireen is, like, I love the shit out of Shireen. Shout out Shireen, shout out Rachel, shout out Muna, sorry. So we're watching. So they're in there talking about, okay, it's Jacob. I'm like, all right, Jacob. I was like, okay. So at that point in time, I had two options. I could say, I'm either going to put Katie on the list right now, right? But I kind of started to like Katie a little bit, like that round. So I was like, I'm not going to put Katie on the list. Katie kind of needed to help Spencer in a little bit, because she was saying how Spencer was like, oh no, Spencer's going to come after me if I vote for him. So I knew you weren't going to get a vote from Katie, just to let you know, Spencer. And also, we were targeting Spencer. The whole alliance was targeting Spencer. So I'm assuming Spencer is going. Spencer is about to go, but Katie's not going to give him a vote. So I'm not going to put Spencer. I'm not going to put Katie in exile. But Jacob's name is coming up. So since Jacob's name is coming up, I'm going to exile Jacob at the same time his name is announced as the killer. So then it shocks the entire house. It's a whole shockwave. Now they're going to be thinking so much on Jacob. They're so focused on who the hell just put up Jacob that they're going to completely forget that there's a killer. They're going to be scrambling. And that is exactly what the house did. They scrambled. So Brent was originally my plan. But if I would have put Brent on there, it just would have been like, damn, now we got to, who was targeting Brent? It would have probably fell back on my alliance some way, somehow. So I was trying to protect the girl alliance of season 4. So I switched it to Jacob. And I felt like, obviously, Muna and Jacob had a very close relationship. So they wouldn't think it was Muna. And they wouldn't think it was me because I'm close with Muna. So I was just trying to kind of keep it off of me. That was my whole thing. But at the same time, now knowing my alliance, they were never going to put me up there anyways.
And what it did too was, I mean, I think we hear Brendan in the episode say like, oh, like Jacob must be the target then, because otherwise, like you're putting Natalie, you're putting Spencer, and then Jacob. Obviously, you want the big guy, you know, the Jacob Jones to go home. But I think like that's what was so clever about it. It was more focused on not putting Brennan and putting someone else in, and everyone else went and took it in so many different directions of what was the reasoning behind this decision.
I wanted them to think that Brent was the killer. Like, I didn't even think Josh was even, like, I didn't think nobody thought it was Josh. Like, it wasn't going around that people were thinking it was Josh. They were saying Marcelo. And then when Rachel tied Josh and Brent together, I was like, okay, whatever. Just as long as you don't think it's me. That's all I need you to not think is it's me. Because at the end of the day, I needed to put something on my resume as well. And I knew that if I was to keep this secret, which I did not tell nobody in the house until, finale. I said to myself, if I keep this secret, that's going to be huge to reveal because nobody, I felt it. Nobody thought it was me. I was in every room. I was like, look for LOS. You need to look for LOS. Every room I got into. So people trusted me so much to fucking look for LOSs. They're like, Billy's definitely not targeting me. So he wants me to look for LOSs.
Billy, I got a question for you. So like being that I was up and my own my own ego wants to know, if you cast the soul, like, because you knew once you change your list, you knew that it was going to be Natalie, myself, Jacob, and Rachel up for elimination, or you were going to be up there, right? With any combination. If you had the sole vote to eliminate out of us 4, who was it going to be?
It was Natalie.
Gotcha.
And the only reason it was Natalie is because me and Natalie did not connect at all day one. Yeah. And then we connected during the round. Like I don't know if you saw this, Natalie, when me and you had talked and me and you were sitting there. Everybody was holding your hand. We were all in the group. And I walked away and I looked at the camera and I was like, because I knew I just lied to you and I felt so fucking bad. Like at the end of the day, I do play with my heart. So I was like, fuck, I just lied to her. I lied to her twice because I have to throw my vote here. And we were targeting you, Spencer. You know how everything was day one. You were going around the house screaming. I was like,
no, I was not doing that. I was not doing that yet.
You didn't yell. You didn't yell at me?
No.
You didn't yell at me.
No. The yelling, the chest pounding, that didn't start yet. Day one.
So you're telling me when we was Killer versus Detective, when we went into the room, you said, Billy, you can't vote for me here. If you vote for me, I'll feel distrusted. The way you were talking to me made me feel it felt so aggressive that I was like, I'm voting. I'm voting not with you to vote you out. I voted only to vote on Natalie because I told you I was not going to vote for you. But facts, you made me feel some type of way.
Oh, no. Okay. So first of all, I'm sorry for that. I'm sorry for speaking aggressively to you. But like, I thought, so the targeting, like when you said like you guys were targeting me, I thought like you were talking about from stuff that had happened before that. Cause like I hadn't like been aggressive or I didn't feel like I had been aggressive or anything like that up until, like that last 10 minutes of the round where we're all having to decide on who to vote for. Like, that's when I felt like, I'm like, okay, I'm up for elimination, like fight or flight a little bit. But up until then, like I truly like didn't really quite understand why I was on the outs at that point.
So the reason I truly don't know the first what happened first day that made both, because 2 people in my alliance wanted you out. So I thought at this point in time, if I put Spencer up, this will make my alliance happy. At the end of the day, you know, Spencer can go here. I have 4. I got 3 people, and then I also have Josh. In my mind, I'm like, I have numbers on my side. Yeah, sorry, Josh. You know, we got to throw you in the women's alliance sometimes here and there.
I wanted to be there.
You were there. But the thing is I guess you made them 2 feel some type of way day 1. Day 2, when me and you were in that room, bro, I don't know if you remember, bro. You literally made me feel like you were threatening me to expose my vote and that you were going to drag me into a battle match. Your verbiage, right? So I'm sitting here like, okay, I'm not going to vote for you here, because then you ended your statement with, you said, I don't know what you said verbatim, but the end of your statement, I remember, you said, Billy, I'm your biggest ally. So if you vote me here, you're in trouble. So you made me feel like, okay, you played a little game with me in my mind. And I said, all right, I'm not voting him. And I knew I had to throw my vote on Natalie, but I did not know the whole house was voting you. I didn't know Katie was going around telling everybody to vote for you. Every room that I went in, the only time she told me was the room that she told me. And I was like, she's throwing your vote. But I was like, if she's throwing her vote, everyone else said they're voting Spencer here. So I don't know what happened. I was like, everyone said that they're voting Spencer here. So
he was disgusted.
I don't care.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we get into it. Jacob Jones gets nominated, and then Rachel is up because she was a detective. She calls out Josh and Brent, saying they have this big alliance, and then starting the round of voting. And yeah, there's a lot of talk about Spencer. Katie's trying to save Spencer by putting it onto Natalie.
Natalie Spencer are trying to do Jacob Jones at first.
Yeah.
Yeah, we still went after Jacob, y'all. Sorry. Like, watching the whole season back, I'm like, damn, we should have went after Jacob there.
I would have loved to go after Jacob there. And every room I went into, because I remember I was with you, Billy, and you're like, I can't do Jacob. Like, I feel bad. I can't do Jacob yet. So I was like, fuck. So I voted for Rachel because, one, Rachel just publicly called me out. So I have every reason to want to throw a vote on her. And I was hoping that maybe people would throw votes and maybe I could get Rachel in there. It happened to Natalie instead, not Rachel. And I felt terrible because at one point I was talking to Natalie and I'm like, Natalie, you don't have to worry about anything. You're like the safest person of the 4 that's up for elimination. And sure enough, she was the one that caught the votes that night. I was like, oh my God. So I was completely shocked when Natalie got voted out that round.
I was too. I was like, because I was not expecting that. Especially low key, I thought you were going, bro. I thought you were a goner. I was like, if he throws my name, if he pulls my name, he's gonna hear I said Natalie, and then I would explain next round, Natalie, why I voted for you. But I low key thought you were a goner, bro. And then they said Natalie. I was like, I was like, please, Natalie, just don't expose my poll. And then you exposed it, and I'm like, please don't try to bat me into a battle match.
It's so funny
because plan is gone.
I thought of 3 scenarios. I thought either Spencer gets all the votes and he goes and it's fine, you know, sorry, or like he has an LOS and then it ends up being between me and Rachel. Or there was another scenario. I don't know. It's all happening. But I just was like, you know what? It's going to be between me and Rachel. I better add a vote to Rachel. So people were like, Nelly got herself voted out. But, I was just thinking too hard, you guys.
The thing that was nuts to me.
Yeah.
The thing that was nuts to me was like watching it back, seeing how quickly Katie and Brent ran to Jacob to be like, oh my gosh, Jacob, they're trying to vote for you. I was just like, these are the two people who in this game I thought I was closest to. Like from pregame like relationships, these are the 2 people I thought I was closest to. And I'm like, because I knew, like, Natalie and I went up and talked to Brent and Katie, and we were just like, hey, let's like try to vote for Jacob. And then immediately Jacob like seeks me out like a freaking like heat-seeking missile. He comes right at me and is like, I heard you were throwing my name out. And I was like, Katie and Brent, what the fuck? Like, come on. And I was so pissed because it was at that point where I really just felt like desperation and like not desperation, despair, excuse me. And I was just like, if like Katie and Brent are turning on me and they're throwing me under the bus to Jacob right now, then I am screwed in this game. Like, I can't even trust my allies. So that was
I really want to focus on Natalie for a minute because she was the one who did end up getting voted out. So how did so you threw your vote? You didn't throw your vote.
Well, it wasn't like a thrown vote. Like I wasn't worried about getting pulled into a battle, like just what people thought I was doing. No, I was just trying to like if everyone was going to throw a vote, I was thinking that they would throw it on Rachel because they thought she would be the most safe. Mm-hmm. So it was like a way to protect myself just from being voted out. Not like I wasn't thinking about the battle. And then Rachel was like, I was really close with Rachel too. So like that hurt also.
And you went to expose the votes. How did you decide whose votes you wanted to expose?
It's hard to remember.
How did you decide to pull?
Well, I have a bad habit of like assuming that I'm good with someone. So like when Billy and I played in the All-Star meeting together, I like went and saw her in the house of season 4 and I was like, oh, this will be good. Like we have a connection. And I wasn't able to like talk to her about it because Suzi, you pegged me. I am a one-on-one person. I can sit down, and I just like never got that one-on time with Billy until that second round. Was it when I got to talk to you? Yeah. So I was delayed. I had this bond in my head that I thought we had, and like obviously, of course, like I totally get where you're coming from, and I romanticized it.
Wait, did you understand what I said to you? Because I low-key, I was so distraught when, I'm sorry for interrupting you, by the way. No, but when I saw the season back and when you were in the confessional, that shit hurt me, girl. It hurt me. I was like, damn, did she take it like that? Because I said it like that because I put you on the kill list. And I'm like, when you get back in the game, I'm saying it like, make sure, like, it's just so crazy how I said it, though, because I'm like, I speak shit into existence for real. I did not know you were going there. Like, I was like, it threw me. So when I said that to you, I was like, well, when you come back, make sure you work with me. That's all I want.
It's funny. I didn't really catch that. You said when you come back.
Yeah. I didn't notice it neither. Yeah.
But
I was watching it.
Yeah, I think I then at that point, I probably chose Billy because I suspected her and I thought we were closer than we were. And then Katie, just the way like Spencer said, like we went to Katie and Brent and tried to do Jacob, and Katie, like, I don't know, she didn't really give us like an answer. Like you could tell she didn't really want to, like, I just feel like she didn't want to work with me. We hadn't had any game conversations. And then Marcelo I picked because in my mind, Marcelo and I were like this, and Rachel had thought he was a killer. And I was like, well, why would he put me up? So he must be betraying me. So it was like emotional, like, this whole thing I took so seriously. Like you would have thought it was the Hunger Games. Like I was like a mess. It's like we're all gonna die, life or death. So I think I was like some emotional picks in there too. But just I knew I was gonna battle Katie. Unless she didn't vote for me, then I don't know what I would have done. Because I wanted to pick someone that I wasn't working with. I thought that she was already kind of a target from round 1. So I thought like appease the house in a way. I didn't really know, like, I felt like she was connected, but I don't know. And then also I wanted someone that was like an even playing field. Like I thought her and I were so evenly matched. Like she was going to be my perfect battle match. And I just wanted it to be that way. I didn't want to pick anyone like stronger or weaker, and, you know, but you don't know what battle you're going to get. So who?
Yeah. So we see Katie try to talk herself out again, and you're like not having any of it. You're like,
yeah, I'm also stubborn, and I was like, no.
And you guys get the fun ping pong throwing battle match, and we see Natalie win the battle match. Did you also take the Josh tactic of coming back in and being like, it was a landslide? She got started and I was already 3 in. Like
I think I told Billy, I was like, it was a rifle like it was shooting. I said shooting. And because Billy was standing at the end of the line, and it was this whole thing where I was gonna run out and Billy was at the end, like miraculously, and I was supposed to be like all shady about it, but then I couldn't. I ended up complimenting your shoes.
No, I remember.
Look, so when I was super excited because I wanted Katie out. Like low key, I didn't care. Like it was like, okay, it's either or right here. Whoever comes back, I'm gonna try to work with them. And then when Natalie came back, if you see how excited I was like, yes, because I put you on the kill list, and I was lying. Like I felt so fucking bad. Like I did not want me to kill her. That was so against all my morals.
I remember when Natalie came back, I tried to have a conversation with her about like what the battle match was. was. And she starts explaining it to me, and like she's like seeing it back, she's explaining it perfectly. Like she's explaining it absolutely perfectly.
I'm so awful at explaining.
No. You hit the nail on the head. You're like, oh yeah, it's tiered, and you have to shoot the balls into this thing before it goes there, and then you have to move the LOS, but it's not actually an LOS. And I'm just in my mind, just like my eyes are just like glazed over. I'm like, I have no idea what this could possibly even be. And that's when I just like stopped even asking people what the battle matches were.
Yeah,
I'm just like, I'm just not even gonna try. Yeah. Because that was one thing that I thought like was interesting is I've got a lot of like questions from friends and people who were like fans who were just watching the show. Like, did you hype up the battle match? Like, did you talk a lot about it? And I was just like, no, like I didn't even talk about. We didn't have time to talk about the battle matches. Like we had 10 minutes in a round. You can't spend 2 of those minutes trying to explain how you like the picture flipping or the rope throw.
Yeah.
Like you couldn't explain it. There was no time.
Yeah, watching it at home, like every week, it was like a surprise. Like, what's the battle match this week? I have no idea. So I can't wait.
Well, I mean, some people did talk about the battle match. Josh, didn't you filibuster one round by talking about the battle match?
No, he was filibustering talking about why he voted Spencer or something about targeting Spencer.
No, Josh filibustered me the neck like in majority
rules. Yeah,
he filibustered me at towards the end of the round, so I wouldn't ask
Spencer.
Yeah.
I thought that was dope as fuck. By the way, Josh, when I watched it back, I was like, this man here and everything. So also, Natalie, I gotta compliment you too, girl. Like,
oh yeah,
you was playing the shit out of this game. I was like, what the? I was blown away. I was blown away by a lot of things.
Doing that competition was the best thing that ever happened to me. I just have to say that. Like, I came back, it felt like the Band-Aid was ripped off of the pressure. I mean, it started coming back near the end, but like the Band-Aid was ripped off. I felt invincible. I was like, yeah, do it again. I'll go in again. Like, let's go. Like for like 3 rounds straight, I was just like a cocky little bitch. I was like, let's go.
All right, next round, Huff and Puff. This is majority rules. Am I wrong?
No, you're right.
Okay, great. So majority rules. This is one of my favorite rounds in Sequester, period. Like, I like playing it in the minis. I like watching it. I like watching it live. It is, she's my friend, a clusterfuck. So let's talk about, now, Spencer, I think you're the only one of the 4 who ended up in the minority. Is that correct?
That would be correct.
It was you, Marcelo, and who else?
Brent, how could you forget?
Oh, right. Brent. Right. This is one of our more iconic moments of Brent. I feel like as the rounds went on, we got more and more frantic Brent, right? And this was definitely a frantic Brent moment. And you took this personally.
I wouldn't say I took Brent personally.
Not Brent. Being in the minority.
Yeah, I took being in the minority personally because I found this, right? Like I saw that group of 7 that was in the room as an opportunity to secure trust with people. I didn't feel very comfortable. I just lost Katie. I just lost Jay West. I was like, maybe I can find some comfort here with these groups. But then right after that, like nobody had my back at all. Like even the people in that room, I like Josh, Brendan, Billy, and Muna, like they all were just like completely snowing me for the rest of the round. Like that was tough. So that is what I took personally, is because like we talked about it. Josh said, hey, put me up. Like I'll be the one. Like I'll be the one who will poison the jury. Like don't tell anybody else. And we all kind of like put our hands in the middle, said we're not going to do anything about it. Like we're not going to change it. And then we did change it. And I was left out. So I was just like, you know what? Fuck all these hoes. Like these fake ass hoes. Like I'm done with them. So yeah, that was tough for me because I was just like, damn, again.
Yeah, this was your 3rd time of being a flop in a row?
Yep. It was I was one of 7, then 1 of 4, and then 1 of 3. It just kept on getting harder and harder for Spencer.
Floppy Spencer.
Yep.
And that does not feel
don't
good.
Call
like
me Floppy Spencer.
I can't like just like the 2 rounds of being like, up like available for elimination is so like hard. You just feel like everyone's against you. Like that feeling's not good. So I feel like awful that you had to keep doing that over and over.
Yeah.
And so you went into threat mode.
I went into panic mode, which also was threat mode. I was into just like, me trying to be calm, me trying to have a level head. Like, it's not working because I'm up for elimination again. Like, I'm going to yell, I'm going to scream, I'm going to make a big huff and puff about these battle matches. And part of the reason why I did that was because I thought that my threats that I had made in the round prior had worked, when they in fact had not worked, because I didn't know like where the votes lied. Like, I thought that it had worked. So I was like, if it worked last round, like, let me try it again this round. Like, Brent's way more polarizing than like Natalie or Jacob or Rachel. Like, it'll be way easier to get the votes onto him. But then like everything that Brent was saying made so much sense. And I was just like, damn, like he is making 100% sense. So I was just like, well, if I can't out logic him, maybe I can just out yell him. And so like, that's where that happened, of me just like yelling and doing all that. But like, it didn't feel good in the moment doing that. It just felt like like that was a desperation like attempt for me.
Yeah. So you stood up and you said, I'm going to take one of these people from this room who personally betrayed me. But then you threatened Shireen and Rachel specifically, who were not in that room. Is that correct?
That happened the round prior, actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that happened the round prior. And that was actually because...
So you're just racking up these threats. Okay.
Yes. So that happened the round prior, and that was because Brendan and Brent came up to me, and they were like, hey, Rachel's leading the charge against you. And then like I went up and talked to them about it, and like I wanted to talk to Rachel like by herself. Like, I wanted it to just be me one-on-one with Rachel so that we could see like what was going on and squash any beef. But like, she was with Shireen and Marcelo was there, and like she lied straight to my face. And I just like took that personally, because I was like, what have I done to you? Like, I don't quite know. But and so that's when I just kind of had to say, like, make that threat without trying to like say anything. I felt like I had to say something. I felt like I couldn't just like leave it as like, oh, okay, you're not throwing my name out. Good. You guys are fine by me.
What was the lie? Did she say that she wasn't throwing your name or something?
Yeah, she was like, no, I haven't heard that. Or she was like, I have heard that. And I was like, was it from Marcelo? Said, I have heard that. And I was like, was it from them? And he was like, no. And they were both like, no, we haven't been saying that. But I was like, I know you have, but like, let's try to work through it, or we can like work against each other. So that's kind of how I felt that at that point. But yeah. So then
instead of being like, hey, well, I'm glad to know that you haven't been saying my name because I really want to work with you, you were like, hey, I'm glad that you haven't been saying my name, because if you did, I would fucking take you into a battle match because you're weak.
That's what it came off as, bro.
Because you went real left on that one.
So yeah, and I get that. And that was like that was a regret of mine. And I said that at the final two, like how I handled that situation. Like, watching it back, like I was like sweating and I was nervous because I knew like how terrible I looked doing that. I knew how terrible I felt like after the fact from doing that. But like I was kind of like stuck. I was kind of at a loss for words in that moment, because I really felt like I have to say something, and I'm trying to like say something like I'm going to drag either of you two, but I don't want to say I'm going to drag you two. Right. I don't want to say, hey, if you don't do this, I'm going to drag either of you two. I kind of tried to be like a little bit coy with it and say like kind of like make an insinuation that it would be them without specifically saying it would be them. And so like that, it did not come off that way. Like, that was a humongous failure, because like that was a flop.
Boy? Oh Lord.
It was an insinuation. It was an insinuation.
You looked them straight up and down and said, I'm taking the weakest person.
I did not say that.
What were your exact sayings?
My exact words were, I'm going to take somebody in who I feel like I can beat in a physical battle match.
Just so you know.
Was it Brendan that you told you were going to take the weakest person into?
No, I didn't say that to anybody. I never said weakest person.
You said I would beat.
I said I would beat in the physical battle match. And that term, the weakest person, that term was something that came up a lot down the road, and that was used against me down the road. But I never said weakest person. I only said somebody I can beat in a physical battle match. And like, if that, whether that's something that's insulting or not, I felt like the weakest person, like that really hits down deep. right? Like that's something where it's like, you're weak, I'm going to pick you, where it's like, I feel like I could beat you in a physical battle match, or I feel like I could beat you in a puzzle, something like that. Like I didn't view it at the moment as something that was insulting, but I see like now how insulting it actually was.
I mean, either way, you said somebody I think I could beat, and that's you. I don't understand how, like, I mean, that's an insult, right?
I feel like we're getting lost in the weeds on this.
I'll get lost in the weeds. It's my show, Josh. But moving forward, because I got confused about the lines. This is the one where you yelled at Muna. Is that right? I'm just trying to keep track of which enemies you made in which rounds. So this is the Muna round. Is that correct?
This is the Muna round. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. This is the round where this is the round where, you know, she comes up to me after kind of snowing me for the third straight round and is like, hey, you know, I just want to talk to you. And at this point I was like, I can't keep making a fool out of myself. Like you're going to waste my time. You're going to talk to me for a little bit and then you're still going to vote my ass out of this game. Like I got to go try to get votes elsewhere. Like that was how I felt in that moment.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But you didn't know for sure she had voted you, right?
I knew she had voted me. I didn't expose her vote.
It was more like an instinctual thing.
But there was, like the vibes that I was catching, like, you know, that was around where she was like, I can't vote for Jacob. He's my boy. Like, I really got his back. He's got mine. And then she goes, I can't vote for Natalie. She's from the same state as me. And I was just like, all right, like, you know, if we're picking up these reasons, like, then there's no way you're not just voting for me.
But that was round 2, right?
Yeah, but that was around prior. Yeah, that was around prior. I knew that she had just voted for me.
Yeah, you said she snowed you 3 rounds, but this was only the second.
Round 1, she puts me in exile. Round 2,
but she puts you in exile because of Brent. But you never knew that.
I didn't. I only saw what was in front of me. Yeah,
right.
Mm-hmm. I only saw what was in front of me, and so then round 3, she leaves me out of majority rules. So it was like,
okay, so that's the third burn. Okay.
Yeah, and so it was at that point where that's where I said I was like, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Fool me 3 times, and I'm fucked. Like, because that's how I felt. I was just like, damn. I kept on going to the well, and I got burned from it, and I felt like it was my fault for it.
Mm-hmm. A bit of mixed metaphors, but I feel what you're saying there. So then in the end, it does end up being you. It's you, Marcelo, and Brent.
Mm-hmm.
And really it ends up being between you and Marcelo. I mean, you and Brent. Yeah. Between you and Brent there. And you did not take Brent's campaigning personally.
No, because I knew that, you know, it was just the same way where I didn't feel like Natalie took my campaigning against her personally, and I wouldn't have taken, like, it's like when there's only 3 people going up against each other, I feel like you can't take it personally from the other person unless they make it personal. But Brent was just making very like clear, logical points on why it made sense to vote for me. And I was just like, damn, he's right. So, you know, I couldn't even pull him into the battle match that round anyway.
So then you pull in Muna and you have a speech.
Mm-hmm. I did.
About coronations.
Yeah.
Did you think of the speech before you went up there?
You know, I thought of the term like coronations because that's honestly like, it's what it felt like, in my opinion. It felt like this was a season where like people were going to like fall on their swords for other people that they like to get further in the game. And they were going to make decisions that weren't going to benefit themselves to get them further in the game. And I knew, like, you know, seeing who was up for elimination round after round, I was like, okay, you've got, you know, at the beginning of the game, you've got like the least connected people up for elimination. And then you've got like the Power Alliance is standing over there in safety. And then you've got like me, Natalie, and Rachel who are up for elimination to start the game or in the Killer Detective round. And then it's me, Brent, and Marcelo. And I was like, damn, all these people who like, you know, are either polarizing. And I was just like, you know what? Like, we can't let these big players get to the end. I'm not here for anybody's coronation. So like, that's kind of where that came from. But yeah, then like exposing the votes, like I knew that at the end of the day, like I wanted to come back into the game with as much information as possible. So that's why I exposed 3 votes and then picked somebody who was outside of those 3 votes. Cause I was like, if I win this battle match, I need to come back in knowing 3 votes, not just 2.
Mm-hmm. And so why didn't you pick Jacob? That was the biggest question, right?
Yeah, because like Jacob there wasn't enough strikes for Jacob yet. I felt like there was still going to be room to work with Jacob. I did not feel that way with Muna. I felt like you know, this was the first time, like, I was like, okay, Jacob and Marcelo are close. Jacob and Brent are really close. Like, he had a really tough time figuring out who he was going to vote for this round. He had to vote for somebody. Like, yeah, it sucks that it was me, but I didn't take it personally with that. Whereas I felt like the past 3 rounds leading up to that point it felt more personal from Muna.
Okay, so you take Muna in and y'all do the flip card thing and you take her out. And she sends you back in the house with her own speech.
Sorry?
I said she sends you back in the house with her own speech.
With her own speech.
I think she talked to you.
She just said well, like, I don't forgive you yet. Like that.
Oh yeah. I'm sorry. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. When she tells you that, you know, she wants you to consider how you're speaking.
Right.
And you go back in. Do you think about, because she called you out, she called Jacob out, and both the elimination thing. Did that stick into your mind? Because this is something that happens not just in front of the other players, but in front of the jury, and is a big part of how you're going to also be viewed by the jury. What did that make you feel like going back into the game?
It was a little bit. It was a little eye-opening, and it also made me like take a pause to just, you know, like, okay, maybe I need to calm this down. Like, this was, you know, whether I felt justified or not, it wasn't about how I felt in that moment. It was about how I was making other people feel. And so that's when I needed to like take a step back and say like, hey, look, you know, I didn't mean it this way, but that's how it made somebody else feel. So that's the impact, right? That's the end of the day. Like, this is the result of what my words and what my actions were. So I tried to like take it back a step. And like, I felt like for the most part, I did take it back a step. And like the way that I carried myself through the rest of the game, albeit like wasn't very great socially, I didn't feel like there were the moments. I didn't feel like I repeated moments like I had in the first 3 rounds.
You made all new mistakes. Who can forget you telling Brendan that it was time for him to go to his face?
Let's get into the next round though. So it's the one where I don't remember the exact name of it, tethered round, because it's
ball and chain
attached. Yeah, ball and chain. So we have the ball and chain round, and I felt like any pair could have went at different points in this. Like, I feel like it kept, like, someone would be like, oh, let's get this person. But then it was like, oh, they're attached to this person, though. So we don't want that to happen because then one of our allies is going to go. How did it end up getting put onto Spencer and Jacob? Because I feel like Billy had a big impact on that.
For sure.
So let me talk about it. So I walk in the room. Okay, so first off, I was tethered to Spencer. And I was already mad at Spencer from the round before. He just took out one of my allies, and I was very upset by how, you know, her speech did definitely affect me, because it's the last thing I heard from Muna out of Muna's mouth. And then mind you, like I said, we were already kind of having conversations about who we wanted out the house and things like that. So I'm tethered to Spencer, which I knew at this point in time, Spencer, because you just targeted Muna, you're the biggest target this round, right? Going into this round. I pull your name. I'm like, fuck, what's going on now? And then keep in mind, everybody was like, the way people were tethered, it's like, no matter what, everyone is tied to a different ally. You know, like there's different alliances that are tethered to people that are not a part of alliances. How do we figure this out? So I walk inside. I'm like talking to everyone, and I'm like, okay, let me go figure out what's going on. I walk over there to talk to Spencer to try to figure out. That's when me and Spencer were supposed to have that conversation about, bro, what did you say to Muna? Why Muna would feel this way? We were supposed to have that conversation. When I walked in, Jacobs and Spencer are like close, and they're like all huddled up. I'm like, what's going on? You know, like from my understanding, keep in mind, this is something that wasn't shown. I had asked Muna a few rounds prior to about Jacob. Like I tested her loyalty to Jacob. She completely shut it down. She completely was like, you know, Jacob's my biggest ally, but blah, blah, blah. You know, Jacob, I trust him. I trust him. I trust him. So I was like, okay, maybe this is not the time to let her know that I don't trust him. Because he came into the room with me. This was previous rounds. He came in, sits in front of me and says, Billy, you need to vote Spencer here. If you vote Spencer, he's not going to drag you. I'm like, me and Spencer just had this conversation, and Spencer literally just said he's going to expose my vote. So what are you telling me not to vote for him? And he just told me he was my biggest ally. So that was the moment that disconnect with me and Jacob happened, right? It was a few rounds before. I think it was round 2. And this was Killer versus Detective round. So then fast forward, I'm already not trusting Jacob. This next moment when I walk in the room and I see Spencer and Jacob talking, it threw me for a loop. And I'm like, what's going on here? So I went to inquire about who has Jacob? Like, okay, who has Jacob? When I come to find out Spencer had Jacob, I was like, this is Jacob's going here. Like, you know, like I mean, obviously I didn't vote for them at that time because I told them I wouldn't vote for them. So I couldn't do it. But my thing is I made social contracts. I made contracts with people, and my contracts were going to be valid. If I told you I wasn't going to vote for you, I'm going to figure out where I need to throw my vote. And that's why ultimately I voted for myself, because every person in the house was tethered to one of my alliances or to somebody I said I will not vote out here. So that's my reason. Plus, I had a way to get Brent out if anything. If worst case scenario, it's going to be me and Brent in about a match.
Well, that's the thing with throwing votes. It's like you have to almost know where everything's going in order to know that your throw vote shouldn't impact anything. But yeah, so we see that, and it does end up where Spencer and Jacob Jones get pulled, and they get to pull 2 people into the battle match, and they choose Rachel and Shireen.
Chooses me, and then I say no.
Oh yeah. you say no, pick again.
Yeah.
And yeah, so any thoughts? I know I'm speeding through. Any thoughts of this round that anyone wants to say, or of the picking?
Yeah, I'll just say, like, I expected Spencer to pick Shireen there from the jump, because at the top of round 2, you know, Spencer was like, you know, there are people in this game that, like, nobody's ever gonna vote for, and like, I'm like, who? He's like Muna and Shireen, and like he was on the outs of them from the jump. Like they weren't fucking with him, and so, you know, I wanted my game, like, essentially I wanted to get closer with Billy. I wanted Billy to, like, view me as her number 1, and I wanted her to have nobody else. You know, like, I always
did a good job, bro. You did a good job.
I always want to get closer to Billy.
Fantastic job there, brother.
You know, and in my ideal world, I want to get closer to Billy, number 1, and Shireen is my number 2. And unfortunately, like, I almost got sent in this most recent round that we're talking about right now. If they didn't discover that Jacob had Spencer, then sorry, Josh, like, they're getting rid of me and Brendan, period, because, you know, they had to keep each other safe. And so, like, I didn't want to be number 5, you know, in that group. I wanted to be valuable. I didn't want to be expendable. And so, you know, I didn't know Jacob was picking Rachel, of course. I was hoping that, you know, whoever won between Spencer and Shireen would eventually be the one that came back in, because I wanted Shireen in the game. I wanted to work with her, even though she swore me up and down that she was voting for Jacob. And she said, "Do you trust me? I need you to trust me." And then she threw her vote away. But, you know, that's all I have to say.
Yeah. That was almost a tie round too. I think if Brendan and Jacob both didn't vote the way
Rachel shouldn't have went there. Just saying, Rachel shouldn't have went there.
Yeah, that was a surprise. And then I had this, like, whole paranoia that Shireen didn't like me, and so, like, I had no idea.
Shireen was your biggest ally.
I know. That was, like, when I saw that confessional, I was like, oh no.
Like, obviously, when I told you, like, the round where I voted for you, she came in and was like, Billy, you know, you got to work with Natalie no matter what. I'm like, I know, like, I'm sorry. That's what continued me trying to just be. But then when you threw us under the bus, I was like, oh, hell no. Like, hell no.
And that was, like, complete, like, survival. But then I felt like that was like a stain, like, the rest of my game. Like, that haunted me. But that's all I have to say about that. You move on.
So I do have a question though, Spencer, because I never understood this. Why'd you drag? So from my understanding, right, that round, it was Jacob's like, oh, people throwing their votes. They're throwing their votes. You know, they're scared to go in a battle match, right?
Mhm.
That round when you drag Shireen, I never understood that because Shireen literally told you, I am not going to vote you. She had to throw her vote. She throws her vote on Rachel, one of her biggest allies, which was a statement made to you that I am willing to try to work with you and put one of my allies under the fire. Like she was one vote away from being eliminated. I just didn't understand why Shireen was dragged there when y'all were like, I didn't get it.
Right. So when Jacob picked Rachel, and the only two votes at that point that were exposed because Rachel was already up for elimination were Natalie and Shireen. And I'm looking down the line of every single person who I can pick, and I've got Jacob whispering in my ear saying, don't pick Marcelo. We've got Marcelo. He's good with us. Like when we come back into this house, he's good. So I can't pick Marcelo. I look at you, Billy, and I'm just like, there's no way in hell I'm picking Billy. Brendan is the one who's coming up to me and he's telling me who's coming for me. So is Brent. And, Brendan's making a final 2 deal with me. And of course, like, it's all bullshit. And like, I know that now that it's complete bullshit. But again, I can only see what's right in front of me. I can only see those interactions as they're happening. And,
but she told you, she said in the game, she said, I'm not going to vote for you here. And then she honored that and did not vote for you. And then she gets dragged into a battle match.
Right. And so even though she did what she said she was going to do, I did not feel like she was going to work with me later on in the game. And
that's fair.
And with my only 2 choices at that point, feeling like it was between Natalie and Shireen, I was like, Natalie just voted for Jacob. She knew that Jacob was tethered to me. And I was like, you know what? At this point, I don't feel like having Natalie in the game as an ally is like, she's not working with me right now, but she's also not going to be able to get people to work with me. So let me pull Natalie in here. But then what Natalie said made a whole bunch of sense, right? It kind of snapped me back into reality where she was just like, look, I'm at the bottom. If you pull me in and I get eliminated, you're still at the bottom. The power structure doesn't change. And I was like, damn, you're right. And so that's when it kind of like made me make sense again, where it's like, think long-term. Think long-term, not short-term. Who's in control in this game right now? And it was Shireen. Like at the beginning, at the top of round 4, she said, hey, who wants to come into the dining room and talk with me? And everybody except for like me and Marcelo went into the dining room.
And Rachel.
And you and Rachel. But like, it was just like this mob of people followed Shireen into the dining room. And I was just like, damn, like she really is in control of this game.
Okay, fair.
Mm-hmm.
I just didn't understand it. Like I was like, I don't understand this. I don't
that's fair.
But it makes sense.
I mean, I still don't understand it, but we gotta keep going.
That's all right.
We move to the next round, and I think we start the round with Spencer asking everyone to meet him in the dining room. He said, I see how y'all control this game. I'm about to do it myself. What did y'all think about this next round? How did any highlights from this one?
It's the Muna comes back. So Muna came back from the
this is when she tethered me and you, Natalie.
Yeah.
From the jump, when it was said that Muna gets to pick the pairs, like, oh, she's putting Brent and Spencer together and they're going in. Like, even before it was even revealed it was them, I thought it was kind of a foregone conclusion that they were going to get boned that round.
And we were safe this round.
Which one? Me?
The round where Spencer and Brent were tethered.
I wasn't safe. Me and Natalie were tethered.
Yeah, only Muna was safe.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm thinking of
the next one.
No, this wasn't during
I'm thinking of 2 rounds later. I'm thinking of 2 rounds.
So the only reason I was safe is because first when I went into the house, just to let y'all know, I had to change and adjust my strategy as I seen other players that I've already seen in the community. So in my mind, it was like, okay, a lot of people know me from my mini. The 2 minis I've ever played is by speaking this word loyalty. That's the first thing Spencer came up to me and saying. So I knew that if anybody can trust anybody in the house, I will be straight up and tell you who's going to vote, where the votes are going. I will tell you, I don't care. Right. So I knew that round that it was either they're going to turn the votes onto me and Natalie because they're going to think that we're the easiest. And I wasn't letting that happen. So I listened to the boys. I wasn't afraid of y'all. I was jumping in there. I was like, "What's up? Yeah, we ain't voting nobody in here. Not Natalie and Billy. Not happening." So
yeah, no. As soon as that round, like as soon as even just the twist of that round was announced, I knew that I was going up for elimination. But the biggest shock to me was that Muna didn't pair me against Brendan.
I thought that was going to happen too.
Yeah, I was just like I was like making eyes at Brendan like as the like right before the round. I was like, "It's you and me, we're going up." And then when she was like Spencer and Brent, I was like, "Oh, okay."
She
and
wanted
then
you to beat Brent. I thought
no, but she said Brent, I want you to beat Spencer in a puzzle, and I was just like, "Oh, okay, this is kind of strange."
I didn't
but, like,
know I didn't understand that either. How y'all knew
I didn't quite get that, but like I knew that she didn't. It seemed as though she did not want me to like come back from that battle match, but no. So then like this was for me like the most cringy part of my entire season was like pulling everybody into the room. But like if you listen to the tape back, I call the names of the like of the 4 people who aren't Marcelo and Brendan. I wanted Billy, Natalie, Josh, and Jacob in the room there. And then Brendan just came into the room and I was just like, all right, whatever. Like I'll still make my pitch, but I'm not going to pitch them right now. And so I make the pitch and I felt like what I was saying was kind of clicking. I felt like, oh yeah, don't give Muna this ammunition. You're doing exactly what she wants you to. You're playing into her card. She says that like, you know, they only respect battle match wins. Don't give me another battle match win. But then I think it was Josh that was like, so then who do we vote for? And I was just like, damn, time to really put up or shut up here. And I was just like, I can't like put the cap on like that whole spiel with like, I don't know, you guys decide. I felt like I felt like I had to like be confident with it and be like, yeah, Brendan and Marcelo, let's do it. Fuck it. And then like everybody was just kind of like, oh, I'm gonna go. And I was like, that didn't work at all. Yeah.
Yeah, we see Brendan hold on to it. Brendan doesn't forget this whole round.
He did not. Or for the rest of his game, he didn't forget about that.
And yeah, we see everyone else. It's kind of, I feel like at this round, it was kind of a foregone conclusion. Like you guys did your best, you know, you and Brent made your rounds going around and trying to pitch to everyone. And you guys end up in the battle match, the planks. I like this one. It was
Me too.
It was a very, I would say probably the most, I don't know. I'm trying to remember all the other ones before I say it's the most physical.
I like the center block.
Center blocks
is physical too. Yeah.
The center block is similar, but maybe more physical because they're heavier.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Spencer, how long did it take you to finish that battle match?
Which one? The rope one?
The planks. Yeah.
Maybe like 5 minutes.
Katie Hopkins said she did it in 2.
I don't buy it.
I said before
it took me like 2 minutes.
Katie Hopkins did it in a single bound.
It took me 2 minutes just to untangle that freaking rope, man. Like that was I thought
that was so cute though.
I was genuinely like oh no, I'm talking all this shit about winning like physical battle matches and I'm gonna lose one because I can't untangle a rope. But yeah, then I'm still like wrapped up in this rope and I see Brent like underhand tossing the rope and I was like, damn, this is about to be it, huh? But I didn't give up.
Underhand guy.
Had to keep on pushing for it. And once I had the rope untangled though, like I was moving. Like it was just like that.
Yep. I don't know if you had a chance to listen to Muna's exit interview, but were you surprised to find out that she actually wanted Brent to go and not you?
Yes, but like it's yes, because she said that, you know, she wanted Brent to beat me in a physical battle match. So like, it was definitely surprising. Like when she made this like public statement to everybody, like I'm doing this so that Brent can beat Spencer in a puzzle battle match. And so like, I don't quite know why like she was saying that if she didn't want it to happen, like, because if she wants me to win, like, does she want me to come back and work with her after she's publicly claiming that like she wants me out over Brent? Like that, I did listen to the exit interview, but I just like, if that is the case, I didn't quite understand the logic behind like publicly claiming to want me out. You know what I mean?
So definitely that's why she didn't pair you with Brendan, though. I think that we all thought that, like, why wouldn't she pair him with Brendan? But she definitely would rather Brent go than Brendan, is what it shut down to.
Right.
So we have, we moved to the next round, which is, so we just did Olive Branch. So Is it
It's
date night
date night.
already?
Date
Date
night.
night, baby.
Oh,
The worst night. I'm joking.
Yeah.
Date
The night where
night.
you can't talk to everybody, but it was an intimate
Oh.
night.
Oh, were you upset
Now,
that
Natalie, was
Jacob
that
used
a
his
skirt that you were wearing? I couldn't remember.
Huh?
I was asking Natalie about her skirt.
oh.
Or skirt dress.
I'm just saying, Natalie was like really serving some looks that
I
night.
would. They said no black, and I was like, I'm doing it anyway.
And
I
this
love
is where
that.
we discover that Josh uses the same lines on all his dates.
Yes.
Yeah,
He has it
Just
all
for the
planned
men.
out.
Just for
the
the
men.
men.
Yeah,
funny-
I wasn't about to say that shit to Muna.
Yeah, the funniest.
I'm fucking the night or what?
The funniest part of that round is like, it's this super tense date night, and like you're ready for these like really like it's a very like it for lack of a better term, it feels like a very intimate moment because you don't get a lot of uninterrupted one-on-one time with people in this game. Like that was what shocked me the most was how many conversations you have that's like a one-on-one, but you're always looking over your shoulder to see who's coming in the room. And but this, it's uninterrupted. You got this person for 3 minutes and they've got you for 3 minutes. And it's just like intense conversation after intense conversation. And then I get to sit down with Josh. And while we're waiting for the cameras to start rolling, Josh and I both sit down and we both look at each other at the same time and we both go, "Good morning." And we start cracking up. We are
Crying with tears.
We're crying with tears, laughing. And like our faces are turning red. And then as soon as the cameras go, they go, "Okay, we're on." And then we both just like straight face and Josh goes, "Let's get down to brass tacks." And we fucking, and it like didn't faze me because of how hard we were laughing in that moment. But it like, after the date, I was like, did he just ask me if we were fucking tonight?
I was hoping for unique pickup lines, each person, but
Yeah.
Sorry.
But we see the formation of. I mean, I think it's already been there. But Natalie and Jacob. I mean, this is your guys' plan round.
yeah, that was so for me, like Jacob really kind of won me over with the last, or he like told Spencer also like not to pull me in the battle because I had like kept Jacob at arm's reach most of the game because I like people that are really socially like adept, is that the word? Like I'm scared of them because I'm not very good socially, and so I don't want them to like win me over with their mist. So I kept him like super far away, didn't really trust him, and then him doing that action was like, you watch, it's actions speak louder than words, and so he won me over. And I didn't want to go for Muna that early, but I realized like I don't do well with like in normal rounds when you're targeting someone, they can come and confront you like Brendan did to me, and then everything kind of gets messed up because you can't touch base with everyone. So like the way that the date night went, where I can sit down, I can just calmly talk to somebody, do the plan, move on to the next person, do the plan. Like it was just like the way I felt like Muna wouldn't be able to come to me, and like she was my last date, so it could have totally blown up. But like I felt like it was least likely that she would be able to come to me and like say, and then I have to lie, and I'm not a very good liar. So it was just like perfect timing, even though earlier than I wanted, because I felt like Muna and I had a bond because we had met before the game had started. We had like hung out like months before. But yeah, and then Jacob he had this like super amazing plan, and I was like, no.
As a viewer though, watching that round, that's when I was like, oh shit, this girl right here is fucking amazing. No cap.
Thank you.
You're welcome. My mom was like all in my, you don't like Natalie? I was like, I do like Natalie, Mom. What are you talking about?
And that was so funny when Muna, I watched your exit interview with her, and she was like, yeah, Natalie told me that it was her favorite round. She had so much fun. And it was just because I was so relaxed. Like, I mean, I was shaking my whole date with Muna because I was lying to her, and it was like, it hurts. Like, I really did hurt. I'm such a baby, but like, I felt like I was like, my soul was being ripped out. But in this other side, I was like, oh my God, I'm like doing a play. Like, we're making some magic right here. This is so good. And it just was like, it was more my style. So
I was gonna say it's the perfect. You said earlier, like you're a one-on-one person.
Yeah.
Like this is the perfect round set up for you to make a move because you can connect to someone just sitting right across from you.
Except you can't leave. So like Brendan and I, it was so awkward because I like didn't want to, I was like targeting him sort of. And so I couldn't like fake it with him. And it was so awkward. And I was like, shit, we're stuck here for 3 minutes to talk about.
Your confessionals are great. Just both of you being like, yeah, we both know this isn't a good thing.
It was hilarious when he said that. It was awkward. And I was like, yeah, it was, damn it.
This was also the round where both you and Billy were like, so final 6, I'm going to take her out. Y'all both like, final 6.
I love that we both said the same number.
Yeah, exact same number. Billy, you're muted.
Sorry, it was so fucking nuts. I was when I watched it, I'm like, oh damn, like is this organic or not? Like me and this girl on the same wavelength, and we're not even on the same wavelength.
And this is the second of the Billy kind of blow up of the season.
Yeah.
This one was a lot. You took a lot more personal.
It was a little bit
we were
more
just
calm.
like,
It was calm.
calm, right? He was very straightforward and zen-like.
Yeah. I was like, you ain't have to vote for him. You didn't have to vote for him. What do you mean? But it's because okay, so I don't know if you remember where Jacob was. Where Jacob said to Muna, he was like, well, when you heard Jacob say, you know, I had to vote for her. It was either me or her. And that moment, he actually said that to me, and Muna did not hear him. The cameras, everybody on, you know, watching could hear him say that, but facts, he only said that to me. And I'm low key under my breath saying back to him, like, you did not have to vote for her. What are you talking about? So all of that was like a low key conversation just between me and Jacob. And for Muna to have exposed his vote, I don't know if she said this in her exit interview because I work a shit ton, so I couldn't watch the whole thing. But if she said this, but I don't know if she did, like Jacob at that point in time, I'm sitting there like, Muna, you need to expose this man's vote. She didn't want to expose his vote. Her logic was expose Marcelo first. If Marcelo voted for me, that means Jacob most likely voted for me. That's the reason she voted. But I mean, that's the reason she exposed his vote. And in that moment, I'm like, damn, this man, because y'all know what this man told me in our date together. In our date, he was like, if it's me or her, I need you to vote for Muna, keep Muna safe. I'm like, but it's not y'all, like it's Brendan. Like
it was some like psychological warfare there.
Yeah, I'm like, we're voting Brendan here. It's Brendan. What are you talking about? So my whole time, the entire time, I'm like, it's so crazy how lost I was sometimes in this game. Just saying.
That was his Jacob's story there was full of quite a few holes since he knew she had an LOS.
Yeah,
There's so many more ways to play that if he wanted to save his ally. So yeah. But Muna takes in Brendan because she takes in Jacob. Jacob plays the battle match pass and brings in Brendan instead. She beats a very cheerful Brendan, and we move to the next round. Billy did not even try to hide her excitement that Muna is back. She is jumping up and down and screaming. How did the rest of you feel?
I felt really good, honestly, because Muna came back like cheering me on that round. Like she came back saying like that she has a ton of respect for me and that she's not going to like pull me into a battle match if she goes into another battle match. Like I really felt like what work had been done between Muna and I the last round, like when we had our first date together. I felt like that had really like blossomed. I felt like that had worked. Like we each had each other's back there. And like, I knew that I had her back, at least like for a limited amount of time. But when she said that, I knew I was like, she's got my back too. So like this worked. So I was excited to see her. Plus like Brendan had been so like gung-ho, like very like tunnel vision on like get Spencer out ever since I said his name. And like, I just didn't want to deal with that anymore. I didn't want to deal with chaos Brendan there.
I was bummed. I wanted Brendan to come back.
Yeah, I wanted Brendan to come back, but I was like, I want to vote his ass out.
Josh
Like I want to vote him out.
Yeah, this is like I've been setting up.
My Final Four plan was Natalie, Brendan, Billy, and me. So once Brendan was axed, it's like, all right, Spencer took that fourth slot that I, so ended up working out, but.
I don't think you understood how much you meant to me at this moment, Josh. I don't think you understood. Like, you really did have, like, come on, you made me actually vote for Muna. Even though I went and told her, like, I had other options of, like, figuring out. And she was so okay with it. I'm like, no combating me? You don't want to combat me right now. Like, okay. Like, But you did have a lot of pull in say so in saying what you wanted as a Final Four. I would have had to listen to you. You gave me safety at the beginning of the game, and I don't think you know how far that took you. I just think you low-key didn't, you played it down that you didn't understand. But you literally, I was locked in.
Oh yeah, no, safety. Yeah, when I could give safety, I was either gonna give it to you or give it to Shireen. And when I talked to you, like the way you looked at me, like I thought it would mean more to you. Like,
yeah.
So I was like,
I was
Billy,
locked in, bro. I went around that house talking about you need to work with Josh. Go and talk to Josh. Talk to him when you go to exile.
Didn't I tell you this man is loyal? Didn't I tell you?
So we get into this round, and it is the jury pitch round. You pitch 2 nominees. All of you do your pitches, and Billy wins the pitch. How did you feel? Did you guys get a ton of time to like prep to like, or was it really just
depended.
It
depended on which spot you were in.
Yeah, like I was near the end.
You didn't know, so like it was like random. They didn't tell you what order you were gonna be in.
No, except you like knew Marcelo was first because he was so loud.
Screaming. He was screaming. I was like, oh damn.
And then they start like someone came in my room and started playing music, so I couldn't hear them anymore.
I was all the way in the bunk room on the opposite end of the house. Like this is a huge house. This is a huge house. They're the living room on one end.
You saw the rooms. Like,
I'm in the bunk room, like all the way at the end of the house, and I can hear Marcelo screaming, and I hear him like saying stuff. I'm just like, what is happening in Marcelo's pitch right now?
Yeah. I knew that the highlight for me was like no chance was I going to get that because my pitch was to like Muna, and as an underdog, like or you don't want to. I don't know. As from a jury's viewpoint, I was like they're not going to pick me. So it was more of like I'm just going to use this time to like outline my game and claim some credit for things that maybe people wouldn't think I would do and stuff.
Yeah. So in this round, Billy was safe, and Marcelo and Jacob blow up. And Natalie, you get caught in the crosshairs a little bit on this. Marcelo, if there was Jacob under the bus, he throws you under the bus.
I didn't know that. I had no idea.
It wasn't me. It was Jacob. It was Jacob and Natalie.
I don't think I knew that. He said that until I saw the trailer, the teaser clip. I had no idea Marcelo like threw my name out.
But you owned up to it very quickly without even knowing. You were like, yeah, I mean, that was me.
I was kind of like zoned out and caught off guard. And then it just like defaults to honesty. And I just felt like Muna would respect gameplay. Like I thought she would respect and understand where I was coming from versus like lying. Like that was not really an option.
Yeah, I mean, we had just seen how she reacted to Jacob lying to her. So being honest, maybe was the better plan here. And I will say, this was one of your more impressive moments. Like, I mean, I think I've been impressed with your game throughout, but this was one of the moments where I think you putting Muna, being straightforward with her, gave her so much respect for you that you know her going out. Now you have a huge ally in the jury, and we haven't really talked about this, but how did having the jury there the whole time affect y'all as game players? Like everybody you played with was jury.
I thought like the jury was like very vocal at certain points. So like I felt like they gave a lot of, like you could kind of see like a little bit of a, not a window, not a door, but like a little bit of a peephole into like how they would vote towards the end and what they were feeling. And like you could hear them like clapping and snapping when like when Billy and Muna were doing something good, and you could hear them kind of like laughing at me and laughing at Brent when like we got put up for elimination or we did something stupid. So like it was very clear that like I had some work to do with the jury. And so for this round, like I felt like I needed to really hardcore, like let the jury know that I was on team Muna and team Billy, and like tell them like, hey, look, I'm going to try to get these. I'm going to try to get like us for the end. I'm going to try to get this an exciting finish for you. And like, look, you saw what happened to Billy and Muna last round. Like I'm trying to keep them safe. Like I want the people who did that pay for it. Like, so that's where I kind of felt like that was happening with the jury, but like it didn't matter for me in that one.
Well, so Marcelo and Jacob blow up, and y'all kind of get to sit back and watch the fireworks. So it's definitely a different experience for some of y'all who were causing fireworks. So Billy Spencer, it must have been nice to be like, oh, all right, other people are fighting for once.
Yeah, that was the first round where I felt like I was having fun. Like that was the first time in the game where I was like, let's go. Like I'm having fun in this game. Like I've been up for elimination the first 5 rounds. Date night was still stressful, but like, I kind of like walked into that room when everybody else was talking strategy and I was kind of like laughing a little bit. Like I felt like a weight had been lifted off my shoulders. I was like, I'm not like target number 1 right now. I'm not public enemy number 1 in the house anymore. That was awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I felt safe. I mean, it was sad because I like Jacob and Marcelo. In my mind, Marcelo I was good with him, but then he had said something about a Final Four with people that weren't me, and then I was like, all right, I'm voting Marcelo. Jacob said he's gonna battle Marcelo. He told me that straight up, so I was like, I'm not going in. So I was pretty like relaxed. I was like, yep.
So Jacob was planning on. So that's what
he told me at least.
When did he tell you that?
I don't know. I remember like in the kitchen. I don't remember what part of it, like how far in the round. Maybe it was near the end.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so it was after Marcel had already blown up. Because Jacob mentioned that was like a very emotional response for him to pick Marcelo. How did you feel?
I felt safe that round.
You were safe.
But no,
I didn't know.
Again, that's another secret. Nobody knew.
I think we thought it was Muna. I think I thought it was Muna.
And the thing is Muna came back and told me that, she also told Jury about that play. So I was like, all right, I'm not going to ever claim that as mine. But that was another thing I was trying to keep under my belt. I thought I won that all by myself, And then she told me, hey, I told Jury also to vote for you there. And I was like, oh, okay, that's not my play. I'm not going to claim that, But
well, we don't know. I mean, like, it's very easy to give Muna that play, but we don't know for sure that they were swayed by Muna's or by yours, right?
Yeah, I mean, because Rick literally said he said he was swayed by what I said. And it was, the thing about it is I was so genuine. I really didn't care, if I got safety that round or not. Like I was telling you, like I came to play the game of Sequester in every way, every shape and form. Like I didn't really care. I also wanted to build real relationships, with people in the house and outside the house. So at that moment, I was just like, okay, let me do what I can. And then she told me it was her play. I was like, I don't know. I'm not going to claim it. It is what it is. I'll let people watch it.
And Josh had the craziest of all pitches that round.
It was a good play based on the information I had.
Yes, you did not have any information, but it was a lot, and it was hilarious because, like, you were like, so you want to say Billy and Muna? Here's what you do: put them up.
Because ultimately it wasn't a make the best pitch; it was a make a best pitch for Billy and Muna to be safe. So you better be pitching that if you want to get safety.
I got a question for you, Natalie. Though I'm sorry, Susie.
No, go ahead.
Natalie, did you only end up throwing Muna up only, or was it me and Muna?
No, it was Muna and Josh.
Muna and Josh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I couldn't touch you, girl.
Oh.
Not till 6. No, I was kidding.
Now imagine they go with Natalie's Play, and then me and Muna both play our LOSs.
Mm-hmm.
That would have been fun.
Did anybody put up Natalie for elimination that round?
Jacob did.
Gotcha.
That dirty hoe.
Gotcha.
I didn't know about that till later too. That was funny.
That was like a cool thing watching back. Like I was the only person that nobody put up for elimination. Like
we were sick of you.
Yeah, I was just like wow, nobody did. Like I thought for sure like people were gonna pitch me, and then when it wasn't me, I was just like, oh okay, like Jacob and Marcelo. It's got to be like it must have been like Billy or Muna who got safety, because I was like if they didn't pick me, like the only other 2 people who would have done it were Billy and Muna.
So Jacob takes out Marcelo here, and it was surprising.
I was surprised too. I'm sorry, I was surprised too. I was not expecting Jacob to take out one of his. That's just
Yeah, I didn't know that Jacob and Marcelo were friends outside the game. So when Jacob told me that he was taking Marcelo out, I was like, okay, yep. That's fine.
I knew that they were like close working with each other in the game, but for me it was that same logic of like you don't pick the person who you're up against in that situation. Like it's not Marcelo's fault that you're up, Jacob. It's like pick somebody else. Pick like like I watching it back, I was so shocked that he didn't pick Muna just to like get rid of her LOS. Like that blew my mind.
I didn't understand. I think Jacob thought that Muna had safety. He did not know I had safety. So
yeah, but like do something with it. Like he didn't even expose any votes. He just like said, "Screw it, I'm gonna pick Marcelo." Like you're coming up here with me. Like that to me was just like if you think that Muna has safety, then like pick Muna, like so that you can expose that like she's a jury favorite. Then you have to get her out down the road.
He talked about this a little bit in his exit interview, but he was like, he was kind of at this point, he's like, I don't want to attack them again. He's like, I just went after Billy and Muna. He's like, for him, it was emotionally, it was good, like hard for him to go and do that once again, and if he miss, and then have to have it be another thing in the next round.
But low key,
I think it also had to do with the way that Marcelo campaigned against them. Yeah. He would campaign against them, like. As like, hey, you know, I think Jacob took the way that it was done very personally. I don't know why I'm explaining Jacob's game.
We're actually on the Jacob Jones PR.
This is what happens in the game. But so he takes out Marcelo, and Jacob comes back, and by now he's starting to get himself a little resume. He's certainly, you know, 2-time Jacob is shown up. And we go into the next round down one more, and we're really getting to the core here. Which round is this? What's the
sandal?
The sandal? What?
The sand round.
Bill.
Wait, did we talk about?
Right. Okay, I really don't know. I was like,
no, Billy, that's it.
That is it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because the Jacob Marcelo.
Did we talk about Brendan and Muna?
Yeah, you're on the phone. You're on the phone.
I got you. Okay, cool. Oh, see, I'm telling y'all everything. Okay, go ahead.
Josh had a good strategy this round for saving himself. One that Natalie clocked immediately.
Well, it was open. Like Natalie in the confessional says Josh trying to make a one-on-one deal with me. Yes, that's true. I did try to make a one-on-one deal with her.
You did it with everyone. I was fake. When I was pretending to put sand in Spencer's, but I was purposely missing. And then I accidentally put some in my own. Because I was my mic fell out, and I was just very disoriented. I couldn't breathe, and then I should just took a second and be like, "Okay, whose tubes are what? Like, I needed bigger nameplates or something." It was a very intense. This one was interesting because I didn't expect Spencer and Josh to get filled up. Like, I didn't understand that Josh and Billy, I had no idea that he had connections, and so my thinking was like, "Oh, I need him to be available because." He's more likely to go over me, not knowing that there was these other connections. Like that was super eye-opening.
I wanted you to be my connection, Natalie. I tried with you all game.
And my dumbass was like, "Oh yeah, Billy and I got each other's backs."
Hold on. Mister, I definitely put some in your thing.
You gave me a morsel as a treat.
Listen. There's levels to. You gotta come on. It's a game.
Billy was doing a science experiment. Like it was like she had her beaker set up.
Sure. That's the one thing I can say is that entire game, that entire round, I never once spilled sand. I was literally just really trying to keep I was trying to keep as many people as I can. And it's the thing. It's like, what can I do at this point? Like my heart is too big for that.
Billy's like, there are tears to my loyalty.
I'm probably not ever gonna play like Sequester again.
Billy's like, there are tears to my loyalty.
I was so mad after that when Muna did not get. I was like, this shit was a popularity contest. I don't give a fuck that I won. What the fuck is this? Like I was so upset. But
yeah, and in the round we see like it's. Jacob kind of lets out that like Muna has this LOS, and she decides to go with it and just start being like, yeah, I have this LOS. I also have this other thing, the battle pass. She's like, I'm safe this round. Like you guys can come for me, but it's not gonna work.
She sold me too, Natalie. Don't even worry about it. She sold the shit out of me.
It's weird because like I don't know if I fully I think I did believe it. But I don't know why I said it when she didn't play it. And I was like, play it, Muna. Like, I think I was just really emotional. And I just wanted the best for her so badly. And it was just like, I don't know why I said that. Like, she didn't play it. Like, don't remind them to play it.
You were like, Mona, play your LA.
It was
really
so
funny.
emotional, like that moment, like when I heard it, because I don't think they showed the clip of me. I think it was just like my audio, but it was so. I was just like,
no, you could feel your genuineness. Like when you were saying it, you were so genuine. It was like people watch the show and they don't understand the moment that you're in, the moment that you're in the game, how the feelings, how everything is affecting you. And I was sold too. Like I low-key thought she had a battle pass. I was like, this is going down. You know, she has a battle pass. She has an LOS. There's nothing. She's not going here.
Yeah, but I thought Josh.
Who did you even say it to? You like turned to someone and you were like, nah.
No, I turned to Billy.
Yeah.
I was like, she's good. She's got an advantage. But like this round, I was like internally, my blood was boiling because I was like, freaking Jacob gets the battle pass after going to like elimination once. Josh is telling me he has the LOS after going into elimination once, and now Muna comes back from her only like the battle match win. She comes back from battle match win number 1, and now she's got something. I went 3 times. I didn't get shit. I was like so mad. I was like, all these people going once getting advantages and not me. But then, like with what Muna was saying, I believed her like 100%. I believed her, but I was like on the off chance that she's bluffing here, on the off chance that she's pulling a fast one on us, we still need to make sure that she gets voted out, because I was like, her play here is to like flip the votes onto Jacob or Natalie and then play her LOS on the battle match selection. So that's why I was so gung-ho on making sure like she had the votes to be eliminated.
Josh knows I turned around to him when we're pulling in the sand. I turned to Josh and I'm like, play your LOS on Muna. Like I knew he had an LOS, but I thought he got it out of the fucking fireplace.
the sock in the fireplace. That fucking sock.
I was like, Josh got it from the sock. Yeah, he did. But he really got it from these like weird rooms that y'all go in. I was like,
no, it wasn't the sock. It was the mysterious chamber of neon lights.
The garage.
Yeah,
Wait,
and we just
go ahead, Tommy.
Well, yeah, I was just gonna like what we were just talking about. Like, yeah, this is where Josh comes up with this plan to like, Natalie, no matter what, I'm playing my LOS on you. Natalie's, like, wait, but like maybe don't, but okay, like it's fine.
I started to lose my mind.
No,
did you want it or no? Did you not? I didn't understand that play, Natalie.
What?
Did you want him to play it on you or?
Yeah, I did, but to me, I thought he was like, I need Natalie in the end because she's an easy drag or like easy final 2 to beat. Like my confidence started to deteriorate this round, I think, because of the sand. How everyone, like I had the lowest sand, and then I just started thinking like, I didn't really do much that round. Like that was Josh's plan. I only have one good move, and like my confidence started to break. And that's kind of, I think the confessionals was me just like being really frustrated with myself and then thinking, Josh must think I'm so easy to beat. So, I wanted him to play it, but.
For the record, I never thought you were a goat, Natalie.
Yeah, I watched your interview, I think was when you said that. So it was just, like the devil on your shoulder just kept getting louder and louder each round as we progressed to 4.
And we see that from a couple players now, like, and it's something that like I've never experienced. Is like I don't think, and just from talking to you guys and the other players, is like I'm getting is just like how much this game does take a toll on you, and the fact that you can't talk it out with people, so you're just in your head the entire time on some of these decisions.
Yeah, exactly. And then we did 3 rounds in one day, like so
exhausting. Long day.
Yeah. I hope this stays in here. Anybody who watches the Sequester, you have to understand it's totally different from playing Sequester online compared to playing it live. It is an emotional roller coaster for real. And even if you don't express those emotions, everyone is going through emotions. You're literally all in your mind. So the entire game, even when you are playing in the rounds, you're still here. So it's
and like I've never played Survivor. I've never played Big Brother. I've never been on The Challenge or any of these other like big name reality TV shows. But the thing about Sequester that is so difficult and so different from all of those is you don't have downtime to socialize with everybody else. So like you don't have time to like lean on people for support. Like if I'm going through a hard time after like having like going into a battle match and like I'm upset from like getting voted out 3 times in a row, I can't like turn to Billy and be like, cry on Billy's shoulder and be like, Billy, why do they hate me so much? Why does everybody hate me? There's no time for
really
that.
Talk to like your mods, like it's like you try to talk to them, and they are so. The good thing is, I want to like commend production because they would never speak to you. They would not tell you what was going on in the game. So let's say, for instance, the Natalie making that play date night, right? And you're sitting there like, what the fuck happened? I'm sitting in there, you know, jump roping and stuff. But at the same time, they never said anything.
Never said shit.
They will look at you with their mask on. And mind you, they're behind a mask and they're just, all you see is their eyes. And they're like, there's nothing we can say, you know? Like, so that F's with you, like, especially if you want to express yourself, you can't, and you're not getting any feedback back. You don't really know where your mind is. It's a lot.
Yeah, so it takes a lot of mental strength. And I didn't realize I had like a low confidence issue, but you really like, you're your only cheerleader, and then you might be sleep deprived. Like I had trouble sleeping because I was just couldn't stop thinking.
So Jacob comes back, and then we go into the next round where Jacob takes Spencer into the battle match, and this one was really interesting because we're getting to the final 5. We are into it, and Josh wins the tiebreaker, automatically takes Billy. Is there anything that we didn't see there in that decision, Josh, that you had a really good confessional, or do you think
that miss that I was so off by the tiebreaker? I said 10 minutes.
One thing that oh, sorry, Josh, go on.
No, go ahead.
No, it was your question. It was your question. Go for it.
Oh, yeah. No, it was real quick. They're like, all right, pick someone to be safe. I'm like, oh, right now? They're like, yeah. I'm like, I choose Billy. Billy's safe. Like, I knew if I get this, I'm giving it to Billy, which is why. Okay, the very first question that Billy was asked, she answered it, and then she goes and smashes my pot. And in my head, I'm like, yeah. And that's why when I saw your confessional where you're like, Josh, why are you smashing Spencer's pots? I'm like, Billy, you smashed my pot. You smashed my pot. You screwed me.
Like, I'm so sorry about that. Like, see, that's the thing. Like, I don't even remember that. Like, I was like, okay, I'm not gonna. You would have asked me, did you smash Josh pot first? I was like, hell no.
No, you answered you. I did Jacob. I'm like, what the? Like, you know, I'm gonna save you, Billy.
I'm sorry, Josh.
So in the end, Jacob gets voted out. We don't get to see y'all's votes in this round.
Yeah.
It was kind of weird because we were trying to talk to Jacob about it. I had to go back to the tape.
Yeah, I think he was wrong. He forgot he voted for me.
Yeah.
Wait, he voted for you?
Yeah, it was, which I understand is like a, you know, backup. But
he needed
sure I voted Jacob.
Yeah, he needed to flip Billy was the issue. And he didn't get it done. So Jacob was, and I feel like, and please correct me if I'm wrong, I felt like if Jacob had not been the vote, he probably wasn't going in the battle match. Am I wrong, Spencer and Natalie?
Natalie, would you have dragged Jacob or me?
I've been thinking about this. I don't really remember. I feel like I would have battled you, Spencer, because of like what I had said. Yeah. Like it felt like taking out the dragon would have been like a good thing. And also I was losing my mind. But but I don't think, like, I remember being like it would be inconsistent and not make sense for me to take out Jacob because I need him in Final Four to not drag me.
Yeah. No, and I was dragging Jacob into the battle match. To me, it was a matter of like, I don't want to have to face either Natalie or Jacob in a battle match because I was like, at that point, you know, I didn't want to face anybody in a battle match. Like that was another thing is like being in that house because we had been filming for like 6 days at that point. I was friends with every single person left at the Final Five. Like I felt a close, like personal bond with everybody. I did not want to end somebody's game right there. But like I didn't want to go against Natalie. I didn't want to go against Jacob. I didn't want to go against Billy. I didn't want to go against Josh. So I would have been like, damn, I have to pick somebody here. But I probably would have picked Jacob just because it's like I felt like I had to take out the other person who was like, if battle matches were going to be a part of my pitch to win, I had to take out the other person who was winning battle matches. So that was why I think, like I said it in one of my confessionals where I was like, you know, if my vote is between Natalie and Jacob and they're both going to pick me for the battle match, I'm voting for Jacob because I'd rather beat him and have that on my resume than beat Natalie. Sorry, Natalie.
I thought you would have picked Natalie because Natalie was like, hey, I want to put you in so I can take you out.
You know what I find interesting though? Like, so I don't know why I didn't push more on this, but Billy, why did you not keep Jacob in as like a bigger target in 4? Like, because it would have been
as a shield.
Yeah.
Jacob wasn't a bigger target.
Yeah, Billy was the bigger target.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, but
Billy?
I didn't vote for you or Spencer. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, like why didn't you try to keep Jacob in?
Okay, so I'm very big on things. So like as at the same time you're playing this game of Sequester, I was also thinking about the larger scale of I have to watch this game back. So I had already set like Spencer doing that pot thing, like literally solidified that in a way. It was like, and then also the round before, I watched how Spencer like would fill my thing up. So as the rounds kept going, I already told Josh and Spencer, I was like, hey, we're doing a Final Four. It's me, you, Muna, and Spencer, right? That was my Final Four thing. And once I tell somebody something, it's like I have to stick to that. And then also I already kind of like promised Shireen pretty earlier in the rounds that I wouldn't go after a girl there. So it was just like, Jacob, you're gone.
Yeah.
I'm least connected now with Jacob. So out of everybody, I'd rather sit. In my mind, I should have, I guess when you sit back and you're like, okay, I wanted to sit by Josh in Final 2, right? Josh gave me the most out of everybody that I felt like I would have oh my God, I might have to battle this one out. He's going to be able to talk me out of this and everything. Like, I was like, okay, whatever. And when I saw how like the loyalty, I don't like using the word anymore. It's perspective. When I seen the perspective of Spencer push it, telling me to hit his pot, I was like, damn, I can't vote, bruh. That don't even make sense. I had already kind of fucked you in the beginning, so I already had regrets. But
that's how I felt.
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah. And me, I didn't really want to push Jacob that much because like Jacob gets voted out, he's probably not going to battle me too. So I was kind of like, I told them, Jacob, that I tried to push, like I tried to swing it, but we'll see what happens.
The other thing I want to comment on this round is, Josh, it looks like you made shop in that laundry room. You were posted up on top of the counter there.
I love that. Laid out.
Oh, and also let me say, Josh had my vote. Josh, whatever Josh wanted to do, I was doing it anyways.
Yeah, strategy wise, it was pretty simple because Billy and I, we talked right at the beginning. Billy was like, thank you for saving me. I'm just going to ride with whatever you want to do this round. And we said, all right, cool, Jacob. And after that, once the two of us are on Jacob, like, they ain't got 3 votes between the 3 of them. So Jacob was toast.
I loved it in the episode because obviously we don't like, it's like you just see him and it's like, oh, there he is. He's just having a good old time up there.
I was tired. No, yeah, you're talking about Final 6 after the sand round.
No, it was Final 5.
No,
you're wrong, Tommy.
On the counter in Final 6.
Yeah, you're
or
right.
Not the counter.
Yeah.
I don't know. Hey,
line,
either way, you were.
You were on the counter in the laundry room. They were going in on you, Josh. Like, this man's so nasty. I'm like, this is the laundry room.
Yeah, no, I was exhausted for running back and forth on that lawn. I was feeling winded, so I was like, I'm gonna lay down.
And we had worked out all week. It was so weak. Like I run like half marathons, and I was like done after like one sprint.
Oh yeah, no, I smoked 2 packs a day. I was toast.
So Spencer takes out Jacob there, and we get to the big one, the one that everybody plays the game thinking about, because you can't win unless you can get through it. Final 4.
Such a nasty twist. Yeah.
Natalie, they say take off your blindfolds. Billy is hype as hell to see Spencer, but Natalie's the first one to speak, and she's
I was like so sure, like, okay, I have practiced Final Four in my head, and like day 1 when we got in the house, like we were at like 8 hours alone. I was like practicing, like, Capes, this is you. I never practiced in my mind of what I would do if I was speaking first, because that was so not what I would do. But then I felt like no one thought I was playing the game, that I was exploding, and I was like, no, you have to make the first move. And it had to be Billy, because I felt like Billy was the obvious one to win. And I thought Billy would actually respect me targeting her because she was the one saying I wasn't like confident to speak up. And I practiced if it was going to be Spencer or Jacob. So I had a plan for both, but I don't remember quite whatever. But yeah, when Billy reacted the way she did, though, I felt like, oh no, I totally messed up. She's dragging me. Like, I'm gone. And I just like, I remember just,
Natalie, I don't know if you knew this, but like that moment that you voted with me though, is the moment where in my mind, I was like, oh, she didn't have to do it the first time. So you had already solidified your keep in there. You kind of threw it on Josh and Spencer at this point in time. Like
I mean, you could say that now, but you were singing in a different tune post that night.
I know that night because it's in the emotions. That's why I said.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying what you would have done in the moment matters in the moment, not how you feel about it 4 months later.
Hold on, sir. Sir.
Who cares what you would have done? That would have done now.
Sir, wait, sir. Hold on. Final 4, right? Boom. I'm voted out. Let's say I'm voted out. Boom. I'm voted out. Now I have to sit here and talk to both of y'all, right? I would have had to understand your logic of bringing me here. The moment you would have told me you gave me safety to vote me out at final 4, it was gone. It was done. I didn't know your plan there. At the moment, I'm thinking you're screwed. The only thing you can do is you have to go with Natalie here. You know, Natalie put you in this position. This is my mindset. So I'm thinking you're put in a position to vote me out. Your plan was to vote me out. The moment I would have discovered it, I was too emotional at that moment.
I thought you were going to drag Josh, and I thought I was going to go against Spencer, and I thought I was going to lose to Spencer, and that made me very livid. And that was where my brain was at.
So let me tell you, listen. So Spencer, do you know why I went with your name first? You don't know.
No, tell me.
You can't guess either because it's something that happened in my first mini. The only reason I picked you to go after you, because if Josh was sitting there, it would have fucked me. Because in my mind, anyone in the top left corner, that's the same thing with what happened with Alona and Lavina. The reason why I voted out Alona was because Josh, my little brother, told me always vote for the person in the left. Yeah, that probably would have screwed me. Yep, it would have screwed me, but it just so happened to work out. Just saying. I just gotta get
Billy, I was gonna tell you that I brought you to Final 4 just to cut you.
But
I was gonna plant that in your mind too, but then you kind of woke me up to like a bigger outside the game.
I was gonna say that, Billy, I wanted to take you as far as I possibly could, and last night I was thinking about it, and I realized that I can't beat you, and that's why I gotta go.
And that would have sold me. It would have.
No, I had your ass, man. I was like,
so you can ask a question. Doesn't mean I'm gonna answer it.
I was no. Like if it came down to it, and Billy said, and Billy's voted out, and she goes, you know what, Spencer, I'm dragging you because, you know, Josh has been super loyal to me. I would have been like, Billy, you want to talk about loyalty? I told you to smash my pot. I've been with you since day 1. Josh brought you here as a pawn.
I gave her safety from exile day 1, Spencer.
He brought you here but he brought you here to the Final 4 as a pawn to be voted out. You want to talk about loyalty?
My ass crying and being upset about cutting Billy. I don't care what you have to say. Billy would have seen those tears.
The tears fucked me.
Yeah, but you were like, okay, like so quick. It was so quick.
I know. I didn't say okay. I agree. I said okay. I hear what you're saying, Natalie. Let me hear what Billy has to say. Not okay. I agree with you. When you said let's.
It sounded like I agree. I thought
it sounded like I agree.
Well, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what y'all think it sounds like. What it matters is what it sounded like to Billy. That's the only person that matters.
Billy, what it sound like to you?
But in the moment, we know how it actually went down. It was edited for us to see it the way we saw it. But Josh did turn to me at that moment and asked me at that point in time, Billy, what are you thinking? But then I then countered you and said, Josh, what are you thinking? And then you're like, Billy, I have to vote for you here. And if you remember, I said, that's fair. I didn't hold it against you. But the moment, if it would have been leaked that your ass brought me there to eliminate me, you were gone, brother.
Never.
Okay.
I would have owned it in a Final 2 situation because I wouldn't have lied. But
then you wouldn't have got my vote at Final 2.
And I would have fucked myself at 2. I would have fucked myself at 2.
You would. That's the thing is like now sitting back watching the game. I think that I learned one thing, and yeah, it's not about me, but like I did learn one thing is the fact that I cannot play an emotional game. Like if I make it to All Stars, I'm playing so hard, cutthroat. This ain't no fucking loyalty. Fuck y'all. Watch me now.
But you just played an emotional game and won. So why are you gonna fault yourself? Your emotions help you, Billy. Your emotions help you. Keep the emotion. Keep the emotion.
Like what do you have to say, Susie? What do you have to say?
Okay, first off, emotions are a key point of a social strategy game.
Absolutely.
So if you play without your emotions, you are effectively cutting off a tool for yourself.
No, but listen,
why would you do that? Like, I understand you don't want to open your heart because you don't want to get
Billy, you got Natalie to flip her vote onto me because of emotions.
I understand that, but at the same time, I don't want people to discredit my social ability over emotions and say that I'm manipulating anything.
Yeah.
You can't listen to folks like that. Wait a minute. You cannot listen to folks who are going to say, like, somebody's always going to find something wrong with your game. They're never going to give you 100% credit for your game. You didn't go to a fucking battle match this whole ass game, and yet still people got shit to say. Because folks always going to have shit to say. You have to play a winning game, not a game that makes randos happy. Like, you did what you did, and you played the way you did because you trusted your instincts.
I just want to clarify.
Also, you said this before you went into the game. You were like, "What I'm not going to do is play emotionally."
And I played super emotionally.
And you played emotionally and you won. And now again, you're like, what I'm not going to do next time is play emotionally. Girl, yes, you are. You can't help it. All you're going to do is hold yourself back if you try to. You are who you are. You're going to go back in there and you'll be like, I'm not going to play emotionally. And then you'll be like, except for with this person and maybe with this person.
Hey, listen, if all of us are in All Stars, I'm just saying, work with me, y'all.
Billy, you gotta.
Tommy,
send her to a battle match immediately.
Billy,
do not let her get past round one. Cut her immediately. You listening?
Billy, you gotta play the game. You gotta play the game, Billy, that works for you in the game that you want to play, not the game that like burner accounts and Twitter trolls want you to play.
And Susie.
Strategy.
No, I
just Josh, I said a lot of nice shit about your game.
You said some garbage too, Susie.
What did I say? Because I am so sick of like fucking Jay West trying to come for me in games because I said
don't listen to Jay West. Don't listen to Jay West.
This really is. I
should listen to you, Josh. What you about to say, Josh?
We'll talk later.
Okay, and I'll see you in Spotlight, boo.
Yeah, Josh, let's not talk about criticism here. Let's not talk about who got criticism.
I already won Spotlight. So
yeah.
It's just I wasn't in there, boo-boo.
Oh, have you played yet?
Oh, yeah, I played a couple times. They tried it for me.
Which one did you win?
All of them.
Okay.
Josh, get off Susie. The fuck?
Don't worry about me, baby. I'm a 2-time winner of Sequester Minis. Don't worry about me, baby.
Oh,
anyway, so we're in the final four, and Billy says Spencer. Josh jumps onto the Billy train and kind of rides it. Natalie is the deciding vote here.
And I think like Josh played that like who in there, I mean, it made sense from Josh's point, like the logical move for Natalie is to switch her vote to Spencer. Like she's probably already avoided the drag like from Billy. Like it made sense to switch it. So I don't know, I think Josh played that right with the threat and everything. Like he did that right. I just was like, I'd already made up my mind.
Why you dragged Natalie?
Well, I dragged Natalie?
Yeah, I'm sorry, Spencer, but I didn't understand that because you earlier rounds. The earlier rounds. Forget the threat. Fuck the threat. Earlier rounds, you and Natalie were supposed to. You were just about to play your LOS on her. I just don't understand. I understand at that moment.
Well, okay. One, I threatened Natalie. Two, Natalie just quit.
With me? Oh.
Natalie just quit.
You think she quit? I don't think she quit.
As soon as I dragged her, she said, I didn't think I had any votes anyways. So either A, you were going out by the wheel, or two, you didn't think you were going to win. If you don't think you can win, like, and you were deciding like either I'll lose here or I'll lose to Billy in the final two, like I'm not going to let you get to final two.
I feel it. I didn't hear you say
Spencer wanted to be in that final two. Spencer wanted to fight. You know,
Spencer definitely wanted to fight. I mean, I feel like, Spencer, you were deserving of being a final two. I don't want to say I'm taking that away from you by asking that question. I just didn't understand it because in previous rounds, I play a different game. You know, if I said something to somebody, I'm going to try to honor it the rounds next. So I didn't understand it, but I get it. But I didn't understand also, Natalie, why you didn't bring that up to Josh.
Bring what?
The fact that he just tried to play an LOS on you to save you, to take you to final two.
So
why
not? That's because I don't know. I didn't really like think.
You thought that was dead too, Josh?
What'd you say?
Like if she would have used that to sell you on keeping her there, would you not have thought that was logical?
There was nothing that Natalie could have said to prevent.
Yeah, like I feel like I already like messed up his game. Like I had destroyed. So it's like as happy as I am for you, Billy, and like as you as a winner, like I beat myself up every day for myself, but also for Josh. Like I totally fucked Josh, and that like I just threw him and Spencer too in a way to make him go against Billy when he didn't want to. Like I felt like I destroyed everyone's games. I said, hey, this is who I want to win. This is what I'm doing. And so, I mean, that is like not the best feeling every day. So I'm hoping, I'm moving on. Like it does suck.
It's all good. Hey, I got over it like immediately.
Yeah. And I mean, part of it was too like
because I'm just gonna be honest with you. Manifestation is so big. Like your decision was it was bigger than it. Like I can't explain that to you. And I'm not trying to say like, oh yeah, this is gonna change the world, right? But I fucking manifested hard as fuck. Things happen. Everything happens for a reason. And I'm not trying to discredit anybody's manifestation, but I can tell you this: like what you did for me meant the fucking world to me. And I seen it in a total, I don't care that if you regretted it. I don't care how you felt about fucking these two games up. And I understand that. But at the same time, words can't, like right now, even when I want to cry about that moment. Like I explained it to my mom and shit. And like that shit changed me low key. Like I ain't even on cap. So like, I appreciate it.
See, it was very emotional, Susie and Tommy, and like
I wasn't even there. You guys had me like Josh started tearing up, and like
they cut out
about Final Four. It really had me like just as a viewer. Like I don't know if you know, I'm an emotional person, so it's like I'm feeling you guys, I'm feeling your impact, and I'm like I can feel the heart behind that whole Final Four. Like it came across.
People that think that I didn't play to win, like that's frustrating because I'm that person that like watched Big Brother and as an 8-year-old and had a final 2 pitch every finale, every season. Like I've been wanting this moment for a long time, so it was like back off, everyone.
Yeah, fuck them. Fuck your opinion.
No, I think that I think that's such bullshit that people think that like if you make a different move than the one that they would make, that it's not like your priorities are fucked up and shit like that. Like priorities are priorities, and there are things that some people wouldn't do and wouldn't do to win. And I think that's really admirable. I will also say that like watching the emotions was really like touching, and there's an Adrian Rich quote that I love that there must be those amongst whom you can sit and cry and still be counted as a warrior. And I really felt like that with you two. I really felt like y'all were like not letting your emotions stop you from being warriors. Like instead you channeled your emotions to see what you wanted to see happen. I will also say you didn't 100%. I didn't think you fucked people, other people's games, because like if I'm Josh, yes, I'm dragging you. I always drag I would always drag the person who put me on a wheel. You put me on a wheel, we're going.
Yeah.
But who would you have dragged, Natalie, if it had landed on you?
I think I'm pretty sure I was gonna drag Spencer. Yeah. And I thought also that they were going to just tear Spencer apart in the jury questions, and I don't know why. I just like didn't want the jury finale to be that way. I was like, I wanted it to be like kind of uplifting, and I also was really curious to see the moves that Josh had done. Like I felt like I had seen more of Spencer's game than I had seen Josh, and I was like, and I knew Josh was super smart and strategic, so I wanted to see that. So obviously it's like 4 months or whatever, how long later, but I'm pretty sure it would have been Spencer. So yeah,
Josh,
it was unfortunate.
You don't think you could have beat me in the final two?
I really I will never say I have no chance, but I think it would be difficult because with you out of the way, now I can gobble up Shireen and Rachel and put them on me because Like, I got them. And then if you're there, well, you said, if I revealed that I was dragging you to cut you, then, I wouldn't have gotten your vote. But anyways, if I'm sitting next to you, but if I'm sitting next to you, okay, so like I'm not getting Shreen, I'm not getting Rachel, I'm not getting Muna. That's 3 in your camp. Natalie just, gave up everything to get you in the final 2. So I would be shocked if she voted for me. So boom, that's 4. Now you only need 2 votes. And, you've been more visible in the elimination ceremonies. I felt like, it was, the jury was clapping and snapping for you. I didn't know that you had gotten safety during the jury round, but, also that doesn't work for me, but
that's also another reason why I didn't say shit.
Exactly. Like, there are too many things working against me. Like, why would I go against you when I can go against Spencer and Natalie?
You want me to kind of play down my game, and I'm talking about I didn't do nothing this game. Only thing I didn't do was battle matches. Y'all didn't even know about the killer.
Oh my God, Billy! If I had sat next to you and you dropped that you were the killer, fuck me. Yeah. You know what I would have said? I would have said, no, I was the killer.
Why are you lying, Billy?
It's like Josh pulls a Spartacus. Is like, I'm the killer.
I'm the killer.
That was my favorite moment. Was when we found out she was the killer.
Yeah, we moved from Final 4 to Final 2. I know that we saw most of it, and it was close. It was pretty close, and I think it was closer than a lot of people thought, including I think the Final 4.
It went from Katie all the way to Muna before I got to answer a question about something that I actually did in the game. Like Shireen and Rachel, Rachel asked me about what my biggest regret was, but there was no way I was winning her vote there. Like that was she just wanted to tell if I had some sense of humility and like try to be humble a little bit. Shireen, she was never voting for me. She asked me how many times I got voted out. Brent, he said some real nice stuff about me, but I wasn't going to win any votes off of that. His speech to the jury, that was just him trying to say, hey, Spencer's a good guy, but it didn't give me the opportunity to work for it. And then, Brendan's question, Marcelo's question, Marcelo didn't even ask anything. He just, said, I'm proud of you. He said, I'm proud of you. I'm going to vote for you. But I felt like there was a span of like 5 or 6 jurors where I didn't have a chance to win any single vote from the jury.
The thing is, did you know that Jay West went into Final 2 going to vote for you?
I did. I also know that Brendan was probably going to vote for me at Final 2 as well. Mm-hmm. So it was real close.
It was real close.
Yeah, I mean, I guess thinking about things like Rachel's questions, those are chances that you could take to win over people, even if you're not trying to win Rachel. Mm-hmm. At that point, you turn to the rest of the people. But
I appreciate your apology, Spencer. Like, even though I'm in Final 2, I can't vote for you, right? But like knowing that we got to watch the whole season for you to own up, that's a man move.
Yeah, and like for a brief moment, I thought of like in my head, like everything happened so fast where I was like, maybe I can take this opportunity to say that something was a regret for a vote that I could win, right? Like maybe say something like, Jay West, I regret this happening, or Brendan, I regret this happening. But like, I needed to tell the truth, and I needed to be honest and sincere about what happened. And it wasn't just like, if anybody had asked me that question, I would have said what happened with Rachel, right? Like I was not trying to pander to her and tell her what she wanted to hear. I was telling the truth. And although I wasn't ever going to earn her vote, I felt like what I said needed to be said. I felt like I needed to tell Rachel how I felt and how, it wasn't right what I did.
And I think what you just said there, I think goes to like what we've been talking about a little bit. It's just like how things can just get into your head. And just like for you didn't realize how close it could have been because you're hearing all this stuff and it's like, it's piling on and it's like, okay, I have no chance anymore. And like, it can then like when Jacob's like, pump it up, it's hard because you're like, I don't feel like I can pump it up right now. It's hard. It's a hard game.
Right. And like, I felt like, to this day, I still think like, I wish that some members on the jury, even if they didn't vote for me, I wish they'd give me a little bit more, like of certain individuals, I wish they had given me more of an opportunity for me to speak on my game. you know, like Josh, Natalie, Jacob, Muna, they did a great job. Jay West, Katie, they did a great job. But like the 5 right there in the middle, it was just like, it felt like they would give Billy a chance. Billy could say some good stuff, and then they would go to me and they would just roast me or like grandstand for me. And I felt like none of those things were helping. And like Marcelo, he said nice stuff about me. Brent, he said nice stuff about me, but I was just like, you could see my face drop when they were like, I don't have a question for you. I was just like, oh no.
And then Billy, I have a question about were you planning on revealing this killer thing before Shireen asked you the question?
Yeah, I was gonna drop the bomb. I was gonna drop the bomb at like sometime during that final 2, you know, questionnaire somewhere. But if not, I was gonna do it right before. Like that was gonna be the last thing that every every member knew at that moment that I was the killer, and it was going to be the last thing. And I knew that was going to be the bomb I was going to drop, regardless of who I sat with at final 2. And then Shireen asked me, and it was just like, fuck, whatever. I gotta tell the truth, because they were in jury asking that question every time somebody was added. They didn't know who the killer was, and it messed with everyone's mind. Who is the killer? And you know, I'm part of their alliance. So they're like, what? So every time a new jury member was added, they were like, what? Wait. And it's narrowing it down to it's Billy. It's Billy. And I think at that moment when Natalie and Josh were added, they were like, oh shit, it was Billy the entire time. And we completely didn't think.
Because it couldn't have been me. It couldn't have been me.
Yeah, and since this was only 4 days ago, like this was like super like
fresh.
Yeah, it was fresh for us. So for viewers, it was, you know, like 2 months ago. But for us, and it like when you said you switched Jacob, it was just like, oh, like the reasoning you did it, I was like, yes, like like strategic queen right there. I loved it.
Yeah. I was wondering if I felt that way in the moment, because like on the episode, it really felt like that was the turning point of like, oh, like there's more, like there's more to Billy's game. Like Billy's been doing so much that we have not seen yet.
Yep. That's how it felt for me. I was just like, yes, like I knew it was there. Like I knew you were a social queen, but like the strategy part, like I was like, it's there because I had rounds with you and I could see it, but like for it to be laid out so beautifully like that, I was just like, yes.
Yeah. I low-key, like once I was the killer and I had to own being the killer, I realized, okay, if I'm going to build a resume, right? And I also want to play this game, like that was, to me, that was like, okay, if I was to keep this secret and I was to make it all the way to final 2, which was my objective of the game anyways, I was like, okay, then I'm going to use this. I'm going to say, hey, I was a killer. None of y'all knew. All of y'all thought I was sweet. Y'all thought that it was, oh, it's definitely not Billy. Billy didn't do it. Damn right I did it. I did it. I was a killer. I was killing people left and right. Boom, boom, boom.
And now everybody needs your list of YouTube videos on how to we need the we need the drop of the YouTube videos.
Hey, it's a real thing. Like it was a real, like me and Josh, my baby brother, we were literally talking about, hey, you're gonna have to lie to people. You're gonna have to, you know, there's gonna be big targets in the house. I was like, get the big targets, Josh. Let's talk about final 2. I was like, the last time I was in final 2, it was what, 0 to 8, or 0 to 7. Like it was a unanimous against me. Like I lost. Like it was a drag. And I said, this is never happening again. I need you to prepare me for this interview. So he was like, no, actually you need to think about other things in the game. I said, no, I need to talk about final 2 speeches. I'm making it the final 2. I said, one thing that people don't know about me is, like, in real life, I am friends with literally any and everybody I meet. Old people, young people, little babies. I am literally friends. I'm so serious. So I said, Josh, that's the one thing that I have is the fact that I am the biggest social threat walking in this house, and nobody's going to expect it. They're going to think that I'm not. I'm going to be hard to some people. I'm going to be soft to some people. I'm going to be emotional to some people. I'm going to be truly me, the true Ashley. I'm going to embody myself. And I told him, I was like, at the end of the day, a person can play a mini all day. They can be behind the computer and they can be this and this and that and this, whatever. But at the end of the day, in real life, there's a true thing called energy and frequency. You can't fake that. One thing I have is true energy, real frequency, and I really operate on a different level. You only can respect it. you can only respect it. So it worked for me in that sense. But yes, I did not turn that on until like I want to say round 2. You know, was there a little bit on round 1, but round 2 is where I had to like hone in on who I am as a real person. You know, so I think
we're about to hit hour 3. So I do think we need to wrap up. Do we have any last thoughts?
Was that you, Doctor?
Huh?
Was that you that went? Yeah, it was him.
It's the wrap up music.
That was terrifying.
I'll just say, like, if anybody's here like at hour 3, thank you so much for listening to our rambles. And like, I just want to give a big shout out to production and everybody who like helped make the season possible. Like they did a fantastic job. Like it felt like such a, Audrey and co always describe themselves as like a bunch of amateurs running around with their heads cut off, but like it didn't feel that way. It felt like this was a seasoned crew of like veterans who've been doing this for years and years and years. And like, I got to give them so much props for it, because it made the experience so amazing.
Since we're doing shout out to season 4, you already know we made it to the top, baby. Hey, ain't no
You, Josh, I swear to God.
Swear to me.
I don't swear to you, boy.
Okay, that's fair.
It's here.
I don't know. Sequester's fun. People should apply. You should apply. If you're watching this, go apply. They're accepting applications. They're going to stick you in a house with a bunch of weirdos, and you're going to play games, and then you're going to cry. Okay? But you're going to have fun. And then Suzi and Tommy, they're going to talk about you. And sometimes
a lot of shit.
They're going to say a lot of shit about you. And
Suzi's going to rip you to shreds, and Tommy, he's going to toast to you.
He's going to toast to you.
And then applications close March something.
31st.
31st.
Any last thoughts, Allie?
So fill out your application. Listen, you can play whatever kind of game you want to play. You can bring out whoever you want to be. Just do your thing. We're gonna be watching. Also, hey, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Weirdness. All right. Well, thank y'all so much for being here with us. Thank you, Tommy, for being my pseudo Louis this season, for stepping in and stepping up when Louis has been L this whole time. So I really appreciate you. I appreciate everyone watching, and obviously a huge shout out to production for killing it this season.
Shout out to production. We love you so much. Hey, Playboy baby, you know what I'm saying? Audrey, I love you, girl. What's up? Hey.
And then the Podquester music plays.
Do.